Howdy folks and welcome. Today I've edited 3 of my retrospectives into one video, albeit loosely. Each retrospective goes through the main story while also talking about what makes the original trilogy of Gears of War so iconic, engaging, and epic. So without further ado, I hope you're doing well, and enjoy.
Howdy folks and welcome. I hope this finds you well. Today I'm very excited to be talking about one of my favorite franchises of all time, or let me put it this way, one of the better trilogies in gaming. I have not played 4 and 5 but look forward to later in the series. The original Gears of War came out in early November of 2006 and was praised by critics and gamers alike for its gruesome graphics, fun gameplay, and a whole lot more. Reviews of that time could not foresee, and one of the reasons why I love doing these retrospectives is how the original Gears of War was such a great catalyst for the franchise. Behind the steroid machismo of Marcus Phoenix, the over-the-top violence of chainsawing alien bugmen, or the absolute trope-filled incompetence of human militaries, there was one aspect that I'll be focusing on, and is the thesis for this video. Gears of War is exactly how you set up a franchise through visual storytelling and world building. I know, I was kind of blown away by trying to write through this lens as well, but hear me out. Gears does not tell you anything. Rewind back to 2006, you've seen the trailers, might have seen gameplay, and for at least myself, I was more concerned about killing the Locust than the subplot. If you've watched some of my previous videos, I also enjoy world building that isn't thrown in your face. Gears, especially this Ultimate Edition we'll be going through today, 1000% nails it on the atmosphere, visuals, audio, and gameplay. And then all those things add up to the story, which in my eyes is the best cohesion a game could want to deliver on. Everything working together. And we'll get into specifics. There's a lot of small details that I fawned over this playthrough, and this is not a perfect game. There are some issues around the pacing, certain bosses, and some character clipping, yet it never detracted from the overall experience. I also would love to hear your take on the first Gears, how it influenced you, whether it got you into the series or if the whole aura of the game didn't vibe with you back then or now. Also coming from a person that again has not played 4 or 5. Looking into the subreddit, I just have no idea what to expect. So with that, this will be a pseudo clean look into the franchise as a whole, and let's delve deep into how the first Gears of War did so well creating said franchise. So right off the bat, that music sends a shiver down my spine. There's something so melancholy, eerie, and menacing, yet in a way, beautiful. And here we go. The first 3 minutes of the game are akin to the first 3 minutes of Half-Life 2 in my eyes. Yeah, we're going there. First, we have whatever the hell those creatures are above the prison cell, which shows instantly that there's something very wrong going on. Then we get this line.
What are you doing here?
Getting you out. Here, put this on. You'll need it.
You could get in a lot of trouble for doing this.
Not anymore. Things have changed. We better go.
What about the other prisoners? You can't just leave them here.
They're gone. Hoffman pardoned everybody.
Is that right?
And oh boy, he pardoned everyone? See, that's the excellent setup and writing there, and goodness me, I know it's literally the first 3 minutes of the game. We now know something horrible has happened in the world since the whole prison was pardoned, and even better, we know Phoenix has done something so egregious, he's been left here to rot. I just wonder where he gets his protein, because goddamn, I'll never be that buff. Also, writing with blood on the walls does not help the situation. Gears also has this point of interest view, which I thought was neat. It's a great way to have the player know where the developer wants you to look or has something planned, but isn't constrictive like a cutscene.
Hold your fire! We are inside the prison! Over!
Roger that, holding fire. Advise you relocate ASAP.
We get to the courtyard and get our first battle. Another excellent part of this game is the level design. Not so much the linearity of it, but the arenas that you'll be fighting. Every place that you fight Locust will have very specific cover, to the point where I sometimes felt I understood how the designer wanted us to move through the arena. Yet there were times throughout the fights that the spawning in of Locust felt like it defeated the purpose of said movement, and we'll get there. For now, our rescue mission isn't going well. And that's another major win for this opening. What the hell was that creature? Right, guys? Like, we just went from being stuck in a prison cell to kicking some sort of alien ass to this gigantic monster emerging from the ground with what seems to be some sort of technology on its head. Yeah, I've got so many questions, but good God, am I ready to tear through 1,000 more of those guys to get them? And that's the best part. It feels so rewarding to do that. It goes back to the cohesive aspect of the game, the visual loop into the gameplay, which loops into the story, which loops back to the gameplay. It's such a well-balanced ecosystem that when the pacing does ebb away because of one specific mechanic, i.e. actually walking around, you'll feel it. Anyways, we're on the chopper and get our brief. The rookie recognizes Phoenix from some previous battle, and the commander immediately calls Phoenix a traitor.
You! Traitor like you doesn't deserve to wear the uniform.
Looks to me like you need all the help you can get.
Step aside. Lieutenant, I've got good news. We have a plan to end this war. Once and for all.
Yeah, right.
Sensors are picking up enemy movement, sir, close by.
Another world-building line about this war, and oh boy, if the prison and the city were any indication of the level of destruction, this war has been happening for a while. We also get this hilarious encounter with Phoenix and the Metal Gear Solid woman. Like, I was not expecting that. Poor rookies. So, we need to get some sort of device to map out the enemy tunnels, I guess. So, this is like a global nom. I also adore the line, "Are we going to get air support?" and the indignation from the commander's reaction makes me laugh every time.
I want you to get in there, find those men, and deploy that resonator.
Will we have air support?
What? Are you kidding? You are the support, son!
We'll get more of the character Phoenix later on, but already I somehow connect with him more than most main characters nowadays. For such a gigantic piece of bulky destruction, he seems to fight for more than the love of the game, if you know what I mean. Going through this first level had my jaw dropping. Firstly, the Ultimate Edition absolutely slaps with graphic options, and I could not get over the architecture that this world had to offer. It reminded me so much of Fallout 1 and 2 with this amazing futuristic Art Deco design, but also had some interesting deviations, like the amount of churches and cemeteries, which also built up the mystique of the world that we were embarking into. Blowing up Locust with grenades, chainsawing them, or my favorite, a shotgun to the face, is probably one of the most satisfying feelings in gaming still to this day. Plus the reload mechanic that almost becomes second nature, yet I have a feeling they changed the timing slightly just so you can't memorize it. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. You can also see the scale of destruction, which, please don't make it a drinking game in this video, you will die. It is fantastic world building. It's not just nuked or full toppled. No, there are signs of use, like the bridge you walk on to get into the archives or further along into the game. Think about what could have happened to make these conditions and that humanity hasn't won. Even more so, it's on its back legs from what we've heard so far. Plus the fact that the enemy you're fighting is literally coming from the ground, we're going to need something bigger.
Well, it could be Alpha.
Cog tags are gone.
Is that the resonator?
Nah.
Now what?
Let's get that resonator.
Marcus. What do you think?
What do I think? Could be Alpha, or it could be the Locust setting a trap. There's only one way to know for sure.
Inside the House of Sovereigns.
Our next target is House of Sovereigns. Straight ahead.
When Phoenix says it's probably a trap set by the Locust, I went, damn, they're smart, aren't they? We'll see the locust progression, which the developers did an excellent job trickling you information, but as of now, they shoot and ask questions later, and set up traps knowingly displaying mutilated bodies of soldiers, which has to put a dent in morale. Another thing is that even on medium difficulty, you will die a lot. I respect this a lot since it's like XCOM in that way. You don't use cover, you die in like 3 seconds. It makes you think when the best time to push is, or makes you realize how cool cover can be. And I hope you're taking the art design and direction here. Everything feels like it worked before the war or had a purpose. Plus there's a lot of imagery with cogs. Yes, C-O-G-S, cogs. Which I think were called that as soldiers, but there were so many references to cogs that I can't help but feel like a bit overwhelmed. Like, why are they putting it up like a Christ-like figure or something? Gears 1 has so many fantastic firefights. They knew what they were doing putting this circular cover and having emergence holes coming out of the corners.
Who's next?
The AI does a decent job at flanking or using the co-op system, but it's not perfect. Like these interiors, guys, I don't think I've been more impressed with interiors for a third-person game since I don't even know. Gears is also telling you how to play their game, which is beautiful. Take this room for example, and somewhat the hallway before. You will die if you go headfirst against the spotter, so keeping to the sides and then using your height advantage teaches the player that it's advantageous to do this. Then they enhance it by sending enemies against you, showing you the futility of even attempting an onward assault. That's pretty awesome.
Let's go.
Wow, are you kidding me? The House of Sovereigns is such a spectacle. Not only do you have your next focus moment, which again shows some sort of advanced locust moving fast. Yeah, I don't want to face those guys. Anyways, we fight our way through and then fight against an oncoming wave, which sometimes gets old. They do this a lot where you take 1 point, defend it, which I know, I'm just saying how amazing that was just 5 seconds ago, but when you repeat a good thing too much, it becomes less prolific. Also, here was the first time a character clipped into the geometry or the pathing was off but somehow reset itself. Maybe there was a timer or something like that. Anyways, we might have found where Alpha is located.
Somebody's having a good time up there.
Yeah, that was beautiful, baby.
State your name, soldier.
Private Augustus Cole, Alpha Squad, sir.
Coal? As in the coal train?
Yeah, that's right.
Where's the rest of your squad?
They're sitting tight over in the tomb.
We're Delta Squad. We're here to retrieve the sonic device.
And to get you guys out of here.
Well, hell yeah, we've been waiting for the chopper, but the radios don't work for shit. Sir,
We noticed.
it's the Cedars. They're jamming our transmissions.
So there is something called a seeder, and it messes with radio communication. But more importantly, Dom and Phoenix know of J-Train as a football player or something that needs a defensive lineman. I think it's thrashball they call it. Phoenix and him saw J-Train play live, which begs the question, how long ago was he a professional? And again, what the hell happened to this world? We try to get out and find the rest of Alpha Squad, but meet a new enemy type, the Wretch.
Keep those things away from Jack. Multiple contacts!
There's too many!
Fall back! Fall back!
Hold your position!
Goodness me, wretches aren't that powerful. I mean, they'll rip you to shreds, but what they lack in grandeur, they make up for in scaring the living you-know-what out of you. This was a great little standoff, and I appreciate how the developers introduced the wretches at first and then put them away so we'd forget. Well, I won't forget now. Another visual that I'll be talking about later in Act 3, I want to plant the seed for it now. While playing, I couldn't help but feel claustrophobic during the human levels. What I mean by that is that a lot of the arenas or areas you'll be in throughout the city feels closed in. Not in a bad way, so don't misconstrue what I mean. It just feels tight, crushing even. It's a great juxtaposition to where we'll find ourselves in Act 3, which had the opposite effect interestingly, and we'll see why then. Just putting this out there for later. Anyways, we find the cedar, and apparently they smell bad. I don't know if they reference this again, but it's kind of a neat detail that they can use the smell to figure out where the cedar is. Also, I was surprised when a Hammer of Dawn was just sitting in this derelict building. Like, who left this here? I would have rather had them bring it or have a lieutenant have it than just finding it randomly. Also, I thought it was only in Gears of War 2, so I was pleasantly surprised by finding it. Yeah, it's been a while. The Hammer of Dawn is one of my favorite weapons of all time, even if it relies on satellites. Add on to that the animation for the cedar dying, and oh boy, you've got me. Another thing about these interiors and the cogs is that it seems like this was a pretty powerful civilization that has recently fallen. To create this much, like the infrastructure and institutions, is no small feat, furthering the questions and the mystique of the universe we find ourselves fighting through. With all the cedars taken care of, we've got Alpha's coordinates and try to save them. Oh boy, this seems ominous.
This is Alpha. Where the hell are you guys? Man! Oh shit, man, where you been?
Delta Squad is in the House of Sovereigns. Over.
Well, that's great. We're pinned down by troikas on your rooftop. Over.
Like the fall of the Roman Empire on Alien Crack. We also get more information that Phoenix was put on trial in this very building. Which again, I love how they do not say anything more about this.
A history here.
A lot of lies, too.
You've got some nerve, soldier. I know all about your trial.
This trial was a sham, sir.
It's a great piece of writing because the vagueness is for us, not for the characters. They already know their history and we'll have to decipher it through their interpersonal relationships, which is very worthwhile. We get this really awesome turret sequence just blowing up Locust with their own machine gun with this backdrop is pretty heroic and badass. And finally, we make it to Alpha.
We're at the pickup zone now.
We have visual.
Who knows you, baby?
Yeah, group hug. Locust!
I am pleased with our progress. I understand they have located another squad. Our strategy remains the same. Cut off the head of the snake, and the body dies. We will win this war. It's only a matter of time.
No, we're here for Alpha and the Resonator. Come on!
Oh, goddamn. If General Ram isn't one of the most badass villains you've seen, I don't know what floats your boat. And that voice. So not only are the Locusts very good at setting up ambushes, which you need some sort of higher thought process to pull off, there seems to be a leader. I'll take her human voice at face value at the moment too, since I don't know if this was the designer's choice or actually a plot point. We shall see. Anyways, we inform HQ that our lieutenant is dead, but we don't really have time because of our next encounter with a new Locust, the Berserker.
You're Baird.
Yeah, that's right, asshole.
Question is, who are you?
Oh shit, quiet.
Don't move. What was that? A berserker. She can hear us. She can smell us.
As much as the Berserker scares the ever-living shit out of me, it's one of the coolest designs and also adds on to the lore. The Locusts need to chain this crazy gal, definitely for their own protection, but it seems like there's some sort of hierarchy going on. Escaping the Berserker had my heart rate high. She makes spooky sounds, she's physically intimidating, and the level design is awesome for this battle. They have you trying to trick her into opening the doors. The first room is so large that I thought it was easy, but then they pulled this small room out, and once I saw it, I knew it would take some maneuvering. And then the icing on the cake. This thing does not go down with one shot from the Hammer of Dawn. Even more so, it looks like it absorbs most of the energy and then runs at you full speed. So we're tasked with getting the robot to something called an emulsion facility. I don't know what that is, but it won't be the last time HQ just tells us what to do. I also like the little bit about Phoenix not caring if it's night or not, which, bud, if you're a veteran of this war, you'd be pretty afraid of the night, so I don't really understand why he brushes that off.
And you're in charge, Sergeant Phoenix, as of now.
Sergeant? Copy that. We're clear for Ravens.
Negative. Area's too hot for choppers. You'll have to find another way.
Copy that.
Typical. Don't give the smart guy a promotion. No. Give it to a jackass instead.
So we gotta hump this to the factory, or what?
Nah, screw that. I got an idea.
We get a good back and forth from Dom, J-Train, and Baird going into the next level.
Plan? What plan? You don't have a plan? You're just talking shit. Plan.
Just wait and see, asshole.
Look at these visuals, are you kidding me? I very much enjoyed the details of the business logos, and then the theater exterior was excellent. Again, going back to that Art Deco vibe that works just so well here. We get another split route thing, which never seems to have any real consequences, but we get a great shot of a train system that was previously used. Do the Locusts remind you of orcs kind of from Lord of the Rings or the Uruk-hai? Like, I like how the Locusts seem to be very diverse in their army composition. We fight through the streets, which had some fun cover to use during set pieces. We've also been tracked by another form of Locust, a Corpser, that burrows itself and can apparently travel great distances underground. We also get informed of where we're going to spend the night. Dom talks about people called Stranded, which, again, I'm so glad they don't just say what the Stranded are, or how they were stranded. Instead, Dom gets some weird reactions from the two Alpha boys, which makes it interesting. A, why would they have reservations about seeking help from other humans, and B, why they're even called Stranded.
Now if you got a plan, let's hear it.
I know somebody who lives out here. He's got a vehicle. It's a piece of crap junker, but it runs.
What? You know one of these stranded guys?
Yeah, there's a camp up ahead.
So, what? You hang out with stranded?
I don't hang out, dickwad. I'm looking for somebody.
Shut up, Baird. Keep moving.
What? What'd I say?
The Hammer of Dawn as a weapon demonstrates that humans still have working satellites, and I instantly thought of, well, humans must be in space, and whoever didn't get picked up before the war has been stranded. Hence the name. I truly don't remember, so I'm excited for it organically to come to light. Anyways, we also see a lot of infrastructure when it comes to machinery, and it's still working too, which is odd, but the game does later on explain it at some point. If I can't find the clip later, I'll just explain it. We fight our way through some baddies and finally get to the Stranded. This was a lot more put together of a settlement than I had expected, especially since can't the locusts just burrow underground wherever? How would they not kill off these people? Regardless, the locals aren't too happy to see us either, which makes these interactions even more interesting.
Hey, pig! I'm talking to you, piggy.
Blow me.
Leave it alone, Baird.
What are you, my mom?
Santiago, what you doing here? No news on the lady, man. I'll tell you if I heard anything.
I don't want people seeing me with you, all right? It's not good for business, man.
So Dom has someone he's also searching for, it seems, but this trader hasn't gotten any new information for him. So obviously there's some sort of network out here for him to be a trader, and there has to be more settlements out there too. For now, Dom and Phoenix are tasked with grabbing the car from the gas station, but of course it's like 2 miles away, and it's turning into nighttime.
All right, man, I'll do it. Yo, on one condition. They stay here, yo, as collateral. We can use the extra guns, man.
Done.
It's a chap's gas station. Watch you go get it.
That frickin' laugh. Walking through the abandoned apartments or walkways was not only fun to play through, but visually striking on so many levels. You get to see how people sort of lived, which was a great mix of sci-fi elements and 20th century fireplaces. I like that. We also see that there have been some modifications to the area post-war, since the police system was definitely not designed by any structural engineers. Then we get nighttime, which, oh boy, I did not like one bit. Not only are the krill horrifying with their screeches, but they will kill you quickly if you're not in the light. I love this line about how the stranded recognize Cole from his playing days, another check in the world building book. See what I mean by horrifying though? The krill do serve as a nice gameplay element. It's not just like stay in the light. The developers tried their best on different scenarios, like shining a light on your partner, shooting propane tanks, which Dom has a line about, saying it's not good since the stranded rely on them, which is an interesting take. And my favorite, pushing a flaming car for light and cover. It's also a neat little thing seeing signage for the House of Sovereigns since we've already been there and kind of reinforces the whole city thing. Also, I know I haven't talked a lot about the music, but the ominous undertones of the ambient sounds with the overtures of the fighting music were just a great contrast. Now, after some krill deaths, I don't want to talk about it, we finally make it to the gas station where inexplicably this guy is just chilling. Like, what do you do for fun here?
Gosh, you nincompoops. Look at this place. You burned half the neighborhood down, and we've got locusts and krill flying up our ass, all thanks to you.
This was a good engagement, even though you couldn't use the windows as cover. HQ informs us that the locusts have attacked the stranded position, and we have the double time back to their base. What wasn't as fun was the next portion on the bridge.
Good to go. Drones! Up there!
Damn it!
Get in!
Not again.
Go!
Watch out! Left, you numbskull!
It's an interesting concept, but the clunky controls for the vehicle, in addition to having to stop to use the light beam, felt off. It just wasn't good pacing. What do you think of this section? Again, I love the visuals through this though, and it's heavily reminded me of Washington DC from Fallout 3. From the bridge design to the buildings, it was striking the level of devastation in this place. We get back to the village to repel the attack, which again, what a great set piece. It's a great contrast to the open world procedurally generated content or ideology. If we make a bigger space, the player will like it more. I'm a fan of those types of games, but this curated battles are something to behold, even if the spawning can sometimes be erratic. With the major sinkhole cleared and the tank operational, we drive out to the Emulsion mine. At this juncture, I felt like the tone of the game was shifting. Did anyone else get spooked by this place?
Hold up!
Damn it! Okay, Delta. Looks like we're walking.
It wasn't just the creepy glowing wretches, but the size of this factory was staggering, and it looked like it was still in operation. Which would be odd since the capital was absolutely decimated. So the main entrance is blocked and we can't use our robot since it's too thick. And we have to find an alternative route. Phoenix and Dom also have a small conversation how no one has been underground in years and calls it enemy territory.
You know that nobody's been underground in years, right?
I know.
Look, man, it's enemy territory. I mean, it's bad enough when we're fighting these things outside, in broad daylight. But underground, in the dark?
Yeah, could be bad.
I like this even if we sort of understood the Locusts use some sort of tunnel network deeply embedded under the surface of the planet. It just adds to their understanding of what they've been tasked with. Something monumental. Or even a one-way mission if you know what I mean. As we enter the facility, we enter Act 3, Belly of the Beast, Evolution, which really made me think what the hell was going on. There was a lot we still didn't know.
We've been here for at least 2 minutes.
Well, good for you, smartass. Give us your location.
The basement, and it's a dump.
Walking around these cramped corridors with some excellent visual storytelling was a treat. And again, who the hell is the stranger and why does he think they're there to save him?
Ceasefire! Dipshit.
Finally, the rescue team.
What are you doing in here?
Waiting for you? I'm ready to go.
We're looking for the cart control room. Where is it?
Well, you have to get down to the factory floor through that door, but it's locked.
Well, how about you help us unlock it?
Who? Me? Aren't we leaving?
Not yet.
Was this facility still being run during this war? Anyways, we get an interesting little voice line from the Stranded about how gears are fascist, bloodthirsty pigs.
Can we please just leave?
No. We've got work to do.
Please! If we stay here, they'll kill us for sure.
Relax, will ya?
You relax. You gears all suck. Bunch of bloodthirsty fascist pigs.
So, we're not the good guys? Shucks, all that Unity streets were a lie then. Sadly, the Stranded doesn't last long, and oh man, the first time falling through the wood scared the you-know-what out of me.
Shit, it's gone.
Careful. We need to keep moving.
We get past the puzzle and get swarmed by wretches, which the shotgun was made for. I don't think I mentioned it before, but if you perfect reload, not only is it faster, but you will get increased damage, a very necessary thing on higher difficulties. I want to note again how claustrophobic these hallways and corridors are. Almost everything man-made has been incredibly compressed and industrial. It'll be an interesting contrast to what's coming next.
Can't stop the train, baby.
Oh god, the J-train scared me. We fight through more locusts to get to the minecart room, and have some sort of comical on rails bit that somehow worked really well. I like how they split it up with a puzzle, then this section, so it's not all firefights, and makes the pacing feel a little bit less repetitive. It also goes back to my thought on how the gameplay feed into the visuals that feed into the narrative that feed back into the gameplay. We're not only seeing the scale of this facility, but get to play through it, which leads to questions on the story.
Control, this is Delta. We've entered the core room.
Stand by, Delta. I'm raising the platforms for you.
Oh boy, this place is huge, and here's why I've been talking about tight spaces throughout the game. The underground cave level in this game are gigantic and feel more open than anything previously encountered throughout the game. I wonder if this was intentional from the developers, a sort of throwing the trope on its head. I can't quite explain it since it was more of a feeling, but being underground felt better in a way. Or maybe it was such a contrast to the previous levels that it was more of an effect on me? I don't know, did anyone else have that feeling? So we have to plant the resonator to map out the tunnels, yet can't just do it from where we landed. No, we have to go way deep into the mine. I do love the prospectors that you can find, even if they're the same model. Goes to show that humans dug deep. Maybe too deep, like Mines of Moria deep. We fight through more enemies and then get this. The Corpser boss was more of a spectacle than a mechanical boss fight, even with some dodge moves and a small bit of finesse required. I also don't know how I feel about Phoenix or Dom saying, "Hit the underbelly," so quickly into the fight, but that doesn't take away from killing this bastard. Certified badass. We meet back up with the crew and finally make it to the pumping station. There are a lot of great lines here, and even in the Gears humor, we can gain some information about the Locust caste system, or their military rankings at least.
You hear that? What the hell's that sound?
It's just the wind.
Yeah, right. When's the last time the wind said hostiles to you? Those aren't drones.
Oh, shit. Looks like they upgraded.
They're called Theron guards. You think they know what we're doing?
Well, we're not here to sell cookies, so they know something's up.
There are a specialty guard that have come to defend the station, which means this place is probably very important to the Locust if they're defending it with their elite guard. With the station under our control, we set up the resonator and get the hell out of Dodge.
Delta, bad news. It didn't work.
What do you mean, it didn't work?
I mean that lousy resonator didn't deliver the goods. According to Anya, we're missing data on, hell, I don't know, most of the network. We'd need 100 resonators to map these tunnels.
So what? We'll use this instead.
I'll use it to smash your teeth in. How about that?
Shut up and look at it. Look, those are Locust tunnels, Phoenix. You know I'm right.
Where did you find that?
It popped on screen when I hacked in. The files were there.
Phoenix, report!
Anya, are you seeing this?
Affirmative. And Private Baird is correct. That
geobot is showing more tunnel data than the resonator.
Oh, this is bullshit.
Give me a 0 point on that data.
Sir, well, it came from East Barricade Academy. From his father's house, specifically.
Whose father?
Sergeant Phoenix, sir.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So the resonator didn't fully work, but somehow Barrett hacked into the little geobot or whatever. Seriously, what are these things? I was very confused at this point. We also get the locust that killed our lieutenant in the beginning of the game listening to our comms, so I guess he knows where we're going.
64. Lonely.
Cruising for a date, 2-5?
Sorry, honey. You're not my type.
What a cool shot, but I would not want to be a helicopter pilot in this universe. Too many bogeys. So Phoenix's father must have had something to do with the research on the Locust or something important enough to have us gears search the old academy. I like how we've seen the government infrastructure like the House of Sovereigns, the industrial side with the factory, and now the academia side fighting through the university, which has a thing for cogs. Maybe the cog government wasn't so good. Anyways, we clear this courtyard and are informed that the crashed chopper has survivors, and instantly Phoenix wants to go for them. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Marcus Phoenix might be one of my favorite characters. Not that he has the range of Gandolfini or the duality of Gary Oldman, but Phoenix's true nature of caring for his fellow soldier resonates with me a lot. He also stood trial for his convictions, which I hope I'm not hyping up a war criminal or something. We'll see. We get another choice, but this time it felt more consequential in comparison to being in separate hallway from each other. We fight our way through the numerous courtyards, popping locust heads and hammer of dawning cedars, which never gets old. Okay, I know this is like the 100th time I've talked about the visuals and the futuristic Art Deco design, yet it's so goddamn good. The amount of detail on each exterior facade or interior room is exquisite, and maybe I'm misremembering or not in the loop, but I'm surprised this game doesn't get more eyes on it for these neat details, rather than the blood and gore of its gameplay. We get to the crash site, and oh boy, that's pretty wild that Stranded were trying to loot the bodies.
Don't you? Shit.
They're not going anywhere yet.
All right. Dom and I will go ahead, clear the way.
Control, this is Delta 1. Delta 2 is caring for wounded and flagging for pickup. Is the conservatory clear?
As far as I can tell, Delta 1.
Then that's our route.
We enter the gardens and, oh my god, I hate these things. They take more hits than a cedar does. You can tell I had some pent-up rage.
How about we never do that again?
Yeah, that works for me.
With some more fighting along the river, we end up at the Phoenix estate.
God damn, is this ever gonna end?
Control, this is Delta. Go ahead.
I'm detecting seismic activity inside the house. There might be locust tunnels inside.
Copy that, Anya. We are aware.
Woo, yeah, baby! What's up, ladies?
Locusts are inside.
There's something else here too, an APC behind the house. Now we can get out of this shithole. No offense.
With J-Train and Baird off to fix the APC behind the house, it's up to Dom and Phoenix to secure what I assume to be the house Phoenix grew up in. This was another great world-building portion. You can tell Phoenix is feeling something with the musical change as you enter the house, and I'm sure seeing his childhood home in this ruin doesn't help his demeanor. After defending the homestead, Dom and Phoenix explore the house, and with a door like this, definitely holds some secrets. Another small detail that I found interesting was a lot of signage, especially in the Stranded part of town, that talked about drinking or excessive drinking. If you notice, the Phoenix estate in the cellar has a lot of wine, or a lot of placement for wine. I don't really know what it means right now in terms of the story, if anything at all, but I thought it would be cool to bring up. I guess it wasn't just workers that had a hard time getting off the drink. Phoenix finds a secret door and we have a eureka moment.
Jack, plug in and see what you can find. All right, Anya.
I'm bringing up the data now. Stand by.
What are we looking at?
They're locust tunnels. Doesn't seem possible. There can't be these many tunnels. It's a honeycomb. The planet's crust is riddled with them. They're everywhere.
I take it that qualifies as enough data to get the job done?
More than enough.
Then let's get out of here. Start pulling the data.
I can't. The files are too big for this bandwidth.
Then we'll take them with us. Jack, download this data.
Confirmed, but it'll take a while.
Guys, there's still a war going on up here? Get up here, will ya?
Oh my god, bandwidth problems? You can call in an orbital strike but can't transmit a terabyte of data? What future is this? We get back upstairs for a final showdown while Jack is downloading the files. God, I remember 2010. Wait, is this Lord of the Rings? That was an awesome, unique animation and weapon for the big guy.
Fire in the hole!
Nice!
With the data downloaded, we make our way to the APC.
Come on, come on, come on! Brumac! Go!
I'm sorry, what the hell is that thing? Obviously someone gave it a mech warrior makeover. So, with the data we collected from the Phoenix estate, we're tasked with meeting up with some sort of train that has a light mass bomb that will close up the tunnel system if detonated correctly and in the right place. So many factors have to go right. I also don't understand how a train is functionally running at this time. Like, are there humans on the service that aren't considered stranded? Where do the cogs come from? Who does the maintenance on the Hammer of Dawn satellites? The list goes on. And of course, we can't just get to point B from point A. We end up at this closed bridge and somehow need to find a power supply. For once, I wish something would happen that wasn't out of the blue or a mission fiasco. Bard also says that the Brumac, the gigantic organic mech warrior that shot at us, is close behind, which, oh boy, that's not going to be fun to deal with. After fighting off the welcoming party, Phoenix orders Cole and Bear to stay with the APC, and Dom and Marcus to look for the downed electrical wire. We get a little bit more of an insight into Marcus and his father's relationship from these lines between Dom and Phoenix.
You sounded just like your old man back there.
Yeah, well, screw my old man. He thought he could prevent this war, and look what happened.
Yeah, well, now his mapping data's gonna help end it.
Somehow, I don't think he'd appreciate the irony.
So there's a lot more to this, and even the thought of humans knowing there would be a war with a subterranean alien race is kind of eye-opening. Another gnarly detail I liked was going through the stranded shantytown and seeing the devastation from these wretches. Like, did our presence cause them to start going against the stranded, or were the stranded just always easy targets? And who the hell was Dom looking for? It was at this time when I looked at the collectibles and what they unlocked in the main menu. These were some really cool comics and definitely added to the backstory, like Phoenix's first mission as a cog, which seemed to be more of a protection mission for emulsion fields. They also reference another human faction, so it seems that the emulsion was like sort of like oil and they had to fight over it. Even more sinister is that if the locusts weren't around, why was Phoenix's father making an orbital laser that destroys anything it touches? Sadly, you have to find the cogs throughout most of the levels, and I didn't focus on that too much this playthrough. I thought it was interesting though that you could go out of the game and get more context about it, which I'm assuming was more of an Ultimate Edition add-on than anything else. We're also getting a lot more intact posters. There is one which says no blood for emulsion, and I can only guess that harvesting that resource costs lots of lives. Another one saying call it in, sort of like see something say something, but the one that resonated with me the most was they can be anywhere poster. That gave me a very big World War II propaganda vibe. It also had me thinking, so the humans knew that some of the locusts were down there, but the extent of which no one had a clue? If they had time to put out posters specifically for this threat, I wonder if it was the hubris of the cogs or the government that completely bungled the response. We also get this great set piece with the Brumac, like this is what Spectacle is all about.
Brumac! Marcus, we gotta slow it down!
Shoot the legs!
It's still coming!
Aim for his feet!
Everything from the Brumac attack to this theater sequence is exquisite. Plus the time crunch of the train speeding up, us not even getting the power back on, it's tense to say the least. I really enjoyed destroying the theater set to kill the Cedar too. That was just a great touch.
Get over here! It's right there! Man, that thing has chased us everywhere! Okay, what now, boss?
Control, this is Delta. Do you read? Shit, still out. Okay, the only way we can catch that train is with Anya's help. So re-establishing comlink is our top priority. Let's find that Cedar.
Going through the parking lot was intense, and with the second Cedar down and dusted, our comms are back to normal.
That was beautiful, baby!
Marcus, is that you?
Power line repair's complete. What's the status on that train?
Not good. The Locusts are on board. They're throwing our guards onto the tracks. And according to grid power levels, your bridge is still inoperable.
Options?
You're close to Timgad Central Energy. If power can be restored, that will be the place to do it.
It's kind of fitting that everything can go wrong, and does. I also enjoyed that as we progress, the Locusts have had to bring in more units and upgraded ones at that. Now we're seeing those elite guards above ground with their elaborate armor pieces and goddamn arrows that explode. Yeah, one of these sticks you, you're done. That never happened to me. Alright, I just don't want to show it. We finally get to the power station and have a pretty awesome fight while traversing machinery, and we get a bit more information.
Marcus, I was wrong. It wasn't the Stranded tapping the grid, it was these guys. They're taking it underground. All of it.
Tell me you can fix it.
I'm working on it. Damn it, Jack, the other circuit!
At this point, I would have hoped for the COG team to go, wow, these Locusts sure seem smarter than just normal pawns. Like, they're siphoning off electrical power. That takes an advanced engineering degree, right? And what are they powering? We flip a couple of switches, but again, nothing goes right.
Okay, we're done. Wait. Oh, shit!
Now what?
Power levels are good, but we need to jump the transformer polarity.
How do we do that?
We can't. We'll need a full set of tools, enough rated cable to connect 2 transform blocks, an interrupt to manage levels.
What the hell? You mean we're stuck?
Yeah. Unless you can pull something out of your ass big enough to connect 2 transformers.
Something big enough to fit between those things out front? I think I just solved our problem.
Marcus, I love where your head is at.
Shit. There it is. Now what?
Now, we piss it off.
What?
I like that they showed the driver coming out of the Brumac. It's another indication that the Locusts subjugate their own, like the chaining of the Berserker or controlling the Brumac through the helmet contraption. Kind of feel bad for the thing. Anyways, this is another epic boss fight. Like, if this backdrop doesn't impress you, I don't know what will.
Okay, let's roast this thing. And I thought the food in prison smelled bad.
Marcus, we've lost control of the train. Now you'll have to catch it as it passes through Timgad Station.
Roger that.
Jump on a moving train and try to recapture a bomb. This day just keeps getting better and better.
I'm with you, Dom. This sounds wild, and even worse, it's getting to be nighttime. Again. Like, damn, they've been up for at least 40 straight hours. We get to the train station, and again, I love the set design for everything. From the abandoned cars to the signage for Timgad Station, it's such a great mix, and with the verticality of enemy placements, makes the player look around at their surroundings a lot more. And now the train. Everything has come to this.
Here it comes! Get ready!
Go, Bear! Get up here!
I'll be right with you!
Let's go, let's go! Oh, shit! Hey, Anya, what are we looking at?
Okay, the bomb is at the front of the train, and there are plenty of Locusts on board. You've got to get going now.
Let's move out!
A simple search and rescue mission has now led Marcus and Dom to detonating a mass light bomb that will turn the tide of the war. Hopefully. I know I sound like a broken record now, but the scale of this blows my mind. This world is huge, the industry massive. Like, look at the size of this train and what they're transporting. It goes back to my original thesis. This is how you start a franchise. This is the perfect way to introduce the world, and I'm so surprised Gears 1 doesn't get more praise for how it pulled off its narrative. Oh, not another Berserker. Another neat detail is that the Locusts are now blocking the Hammer of Dawn by what HQ calls inking the skies. So like, they are advanced, right? I'm just glad this Berserker is dumb as a box of nails. We fight through more of the train, which on a gameplay design level, I thought was very unique. For most of the game, we've been in open arenas that the player usually dictates their cover placement. For the train, it's much more linear, like a slog, but not in a bad way. It kind of made me feel like even though we were progressing slowly, it was more like chainsawing through a hardened corpser. We'll just get there, it might take some time. Oh, and we're here.
Marcus, you've got to drop that data right now!
You still have it?
Hell yeah, I do. Right here.
Wow! Engage!
I loved General Ram as a villain, but this boss fight was very annoying with how useful the Krill were. I died a lot to Ram and was pretty frustrated that after a full level of dealing with Krill, that they were more of the boss than Ram was. It also didn't help having Dom being the AI, since the guide that I had to look up after my 10th death talked about how easy it was on co-op. Yeah, that doesn't help. After many reloads and sniper shots to the face, we finally bring down this dastardly villain. And oh, is that satisfying.
Damn it! This is it, Marcus!
So, what are we doing tomorrow?
Yes. Pure yes. Action movie from the 80s, and I'm completely here for it.
Your gears successfully deployed the Lightmass bomb. We have destroyed the enemy stronghold. This war has exacted a heavy price from all of us. It has torn our world apart. But you have my word that we will rise again.
They do not understand.
Oh shit.
They do not know why we wage this war. Why we cannot stop. Will not stop. Why we will fight and fight and fight. Until we win. Or we die. And we are not dead yet.
Yeah, so that might be the Queen Ram sort of murmured about. 1,000 yeses. Firstly, holy moly, she seems to be human. Secondly, she's riding on a locust we did not encounter in the game. And thirdly, I'm pretty sure we didn't kill them all. The ending is so super satisfying, getting the bomb to detonate, and you get a cliffhanger with the Queen reveal. Are you kidding me? I want to download Gears of War 2 right now, and if it wasn't so weirdly hard to get on PC, something Game Pass Cloud Play. Anyways, I would love to hear your thoughts on Gears 1, whether you thought it was a good way to introduce the franchise and how it compares to the rest of the series in your eyes, which I will be covering, so stay tuned. After my playthrough of Gears 1, I just want to go back to the sick and visceral gameplay, learn more about the story and the universe it's in, plus a whole lot more. I truly appreciate you taking the time, and as always, see you next time.
Yeah, that was beautiful, baby.
Howdy folks and welcome. There is a 700-pound gorilla in the room that needs to be addressed. After completing the remastered version of Gears of War, I was excited to continue the series since I was blown away by the beautifully detailed visuals, engaging gameplay, and interesting characters that lifted the story to become one of the more intriguing narratives I've experienced in an action game. The gorilla is none of those things. I haven't had my Xbox 360 Elite since 2012, and to the chagrin of one person on the Gears subreddit, I'm not going to go out and buy Gears 2 and a new Xbox 360, no matter how much I love the franchise. That brought me to the question, how am I going to play Gears 2? Surely one of the flagship franchises for Microsoft would have support to play on PC, right? I was sadly mistaken. Gears of War 2 was unbelievably hard to find on the Microsoft Store. In the main search function, you would only get hits for the other Gears games or even Fallout for some reason. It was only through more research and lots of groans that Microsoft wanted you to subscribe to their cloud gaming service, but not just Game Pass Unlimited, which is charging $20 a month. Now, I would have been fine with that, not only for Gears 2, but for other 360 games that I fondly remember. However, and this is the gorilla, Microsoft Cloud Gaming was an atrocity. The graphics were horrid, slowdowns immense, and audio bungled. Any semblance of gameplay was completely negated since the screen needed to buffer every 30 seconds. And before you say it, I have gigabit connection and live near a Microsoft server center. I tried to play the first level through Microsoft service. I couldn't. It looked like a YouTube video from 2005. I'm still baffled that a multi-trillion-dollar company would treat one of their biggest franchises like this. But I wanted to know so bad what happened to Marcus, who Dom was looking for, why the Locusts attacked, and what the hell was Phoenix's father doing having the layout of the underground in his basement. So I went to researching more on how to get Gears 2 working for the PC and found a method that let me play at an acceptable frame rate, but with an odd twist. Some of the shader textures you'll see throughout the video do not load or are choppy. This issue usually shows up during in-game cutscenes. I get what you're saying. That takes away from the ambience. It's not the true game. All valid criticisms, and I hear you. This was the only viable way for myself to play through the story and make the video on it. This is not an affront to the game, nor the developers that worked tirelessly on one of the better sequels I've ever played. I view this like your older brother giving you a worn-out version of Batman Killing the Joke comic book. Yeah, some of the pages are a bit tattered and some of the ink has been eroded by sweaty thumbs turning the pages year after year, but the content is still there, and it is excellent. As I just said, Gears of War 2 is by far one of my favorite sequels ever, and just because the shaders went wonky at certain points does not detract from what it accomplishes. So with that caveat out in the open, I'm so excited to talk to you today about the story of Gears of War 2, how it surpasses the first game's scope and methods in almost every single encounter, and calls back to the first game with subtle and unique dialogue and points of interest. Also, I hope this finds you well.
United, humanity left only destruction in its wake. Despite their best efforts at survival, the humans of Sierra continued to march blindly to their imminent doom, unaware that their misguided attempts at retaliation were only leading them ever closer to extinction.
If you don't remember from last game, Marcus and Dom had successfully detonated the light mass bomb after defeating General Ram. I appreciated folks who said that the Queen was not introduced in the original game and that the remaster for some reason put her there. I still don't know which way I liked more, and would love to get your take. For my personal experience, knowing the Queen was alive at the end of the first game gave the opening speech a lot more gravity, since I knew we were facing a much more organized enemy. Right off the bat, the intro is telling you the light mass bomb did not do what everyone thought it would: destroy the Locust.
I pity them. But humanity, as always, brought this war upon itself.
I adore the fact that you start the first mission fluidly from that cutscene. Not only does that make the circumstances feel more real, seeing the city being assaulted and knowing that there are hundreds of thousands of locusts gearing up right underneath you, it's a really cool setup. It also adds to the pacing and direction of the game. One of my critiques of Gears 1 Remaster was that it played a little hot and cold. Something big would happen and then the player would be stuck in a slow walk animation while talking to HQ. It wasn't bad, it just was felt. Gears 2, and I will point it out when we get to these moments, knows how to escalate from Mission 1, all the way until the end of the game. We get our subtle nod at Dom's quest still looking for a mysterious woman, and get antiquated with the rookie.
For how much longer?
Okay, I'm heading to the hospital now. I need to check on that lead.
Thanks, Anya. Good luck, all right?
Sergeant Phoenix! Are you Sergeant Phoenix? Delta Squad? I'm your new trainee.
And green as grass by the looks of it.
Now, I chose to train the rookie because A, I wanted to see if the setup could work, and B, I remembered that there were some lore bits strewn around. Another thing I love about the Gears writing, at least in the first two iterations, is that they subtly hint at the history. No exposition about what Phoenix did in the Pendulum Wars, why he was a hero, or the gravitas of fighting in that war. It leaves it up to the player's imagination, which I think connects you with Phoenix even more. You know what he's capable of. We get to our first lore bit in the form of a newspaper. There is information on an assault by COG forces and gives us a timeline of events, saying that Phoenix and Delta Squad were honored a week ago, so not much time has passed between games. Another example of this right off the bat is Dom and Phoenix questioning Carmine, the new recruit.
Brother was a gear?
Yeah, all four of us. Well, 3 now. You know one of them?
I served with Anthony. He was a good soldier. My respects.
I liked how Dom had served with Anthony. It gives a sense of a somewhat small community in what feels like a gigantic universe. We make our way through the tutorial, and I'm assuming they play up Carmine's absolute noobishness to the max. Like, he doesn't even know what a wretch is?
It was bigger than that. It looked like a weird monkey dog thing.
Wretch! Shoot it!
Hey, that's it! That's the monkey dog thing I saw!
Now, a common trope in 2000s gaming, especially in linear shooters, was having semi-off paths that the player could explore. It makes me kind of chuckle now, in an age of open world games where any path can lead you to something. Going out of my way in Halo 3 for skulls, or going after lore bits in Gears of War 2, it just made me feel a sense of accomplishment. Not only does it expand the player's knowledge of the world, but it also expands the actual game's level. I mentioned it in the last retrospective that the art design and direction are beyond fantastic, and it continues for Gears 2, making the player, at least for myself, want to explore more. We also get our next piece of lore that has an ambulance log talking about the route from Timgad to Jacinto. If you remember from last game, Timgad was the station that we set off on the final train, and that implies that there are a lot of sick people with similar conditions. I wonder what's going on. So my title is something around the lines of bigger, badder, better. It goes back to how Gears pulls off escalation so well. We've gone from seeing a wretch to multiple ravens in the air to air raid sirens, and we're just getting started.
That's an order, soldier. Dom, let's move. Ty, good to see you. What are we looking at?
Locust raid. Follow me.
Locust got some serious sacks coming in here like this.
Doubt it has anything to do with courage. They just don't realize they've been sent on a suicide run.
What a line. So the Locusts are staging an attack on Jacinto, some sort of major city, and in answer to my question, what happened to most of the people living on the world after E-Day? I really enjoyed the opening gameplay as well. We get somewhat of a lengthy tutorial for movement and grenades, then get placed into this big ambush.
Hold fire till they're right below us. We want to get as many of them in the courtyard as we can. Now, shoot the tank! Nail these bastards!
Yeah, eat that!
We figure out what the ambulance log was talking about. Something called rust lung, and cases of it have been popping up rapidly after the light mass bombing. I don't know about Phoenix and Dom, but I would be kind of deflated if I thought I was ending the war by Christmas, and then it turns out not only are the Locusts now on the offensive, civilians are being infected by some unknown virus. We fight intense battles throughout the hospital, changing from close quarters and medical rooms to the open battlefield in the courtyard. I especially enjoyed these final stands, or at least that's what I call them, where you damn well know you're about to face off against a ton of enemies. The game's cover system allows the player to beat uneven odds, and it, at least, made me feel powerful and intelligent. It took a bit to adjust from the remaster's graphics to Gears 2, not the shader stuff, just how good the remaster looked while keeping the feel of the original. Gears 2 deserves that, and visually still holds up well, which is bolstered by its strong art direction. We get a lot more looks into buildings and surrounding areas outside the city, and some kind of Indiana Jones-esque temple, but we'll get there when we get there. No matter where you are in Gears 2, there is something striking to look at or beautiful to watch.
Never seen the Locusts run like this. Running away won't help! I'll just shoot you in your asses!
You are pissed today.
Damn right. I missed my family. I'll kill every one of these bastards.
Dom is informed that the person whom he had been looking for might have been at the hospital, yet they were released days prior, and no trace of them has been found since. Of course, Dom is furious, and hell, we know he has tried every avenue to find this person, whether that was the Stranded or COG HQ.
Lost her again! Ah! God damn it!
Copy that, Anya. Delta out.
Humans are no strangers to war. After all, we've been fighting for as long as we can remember.
Wait, who is this guy?
In the past, we fought for emulsion. We fought for country. We fought for freedom. But all that changed after E-Day. For 15 years, we've been fighting for our very survival against inhuman, genocidal monsters.
See, I don't know if I trust the cogs. There seems to be some sort of weird power order, and the line that humanity is no stranger to war. Yeah, weren't humans fighting each other for the emulsion under the same generals? Or was that much further back? I did appreciate the line that humanity has been fighting the Locusts for 15 years. It gives the player a timeline and reinforces why the city in the first game looked like a nuke had gone off on it. Another part of these games that works so well is the dialogue between Marcus and his teammates. Whether that is funny one-liners or something more serious, you really feel like you're part of a group, which elevates a game's narrative.
They've brought with them a force that can sink entire cities. Even Jacinto, our last beacon of hope through all these dark days, is now at risk. Soon we'll have nothing left to defend. And that means we have only one option. Attack.
Now that's a great title screen.
Gears, what I ask of you now is not an easy thing, but it is necessary. If we are to survive, if we are to live long enough to see the seasons pass, our children grow, and experience a time of peace that we have never known, we must now take this fight to the Locust.
See what I mean about scale? This is an all-out assault. Yeah, so this is humanity's last chance, strike the enemy where they can't recover, and be home for Christmas. Okay, I got it. We start the assault on Betty, this gigantic war rig that instantly had me thinking, where are the production facilities for these bad boys? We also get an interesting quick dialogue with the driver, Dizzy, asking why he's even here.
You a conscript?
I ain't got no choice once he took the lifeboat assistance. Family got the groceries, but Daddy got conscripted. Life's a bitch like that.
Delta Baird here. Apparently, I'm riding on Maryland.
Now, that's kind of haunting if you think about it. That's Dizzy's father that had to take out what they called a lifeboat policy to feed his family. But that also made the father and Dizzy a part of the army. What was I saying about not trusting the COG military-industrial complex? Regardless, the music, the visuals, the anticipation, the word is epic.
Copy that, KR-36. We're moving into position. KR-18 out. This is KR-41. We are in position.
Eyes up front, Gears! Incoming mortars! Take cover!
Oh, here we go!
Wow, what a transition from a cutscene. That was sick. I love the sequence so much. Not only does this feel like some final battle, even though we're only 40 minutes into the game, it solidifies what Gears 2 is trying to do. Say it with me now. Bigger, badder, better. So we're all headed to Landdown, somewhere that we can drill down and affect the Locusts somehow. I don't know if the quest is vague for the reason that COG HQ literally doesn't tell Marcus shit most of the time, or if I missed something. But Landdown seems to have more of a history than just this current assault.
Another great gameplay aspect of Gears 2 is how diversified the combat areas are. Not only are the set pieces visually unique, making the player always analyze the field of battle before making movements, but they also can change. Pillars come down, cover will be destroyed, it makes most fights dynamic. Another trope about sequels in 2000s gaming was that they add triple the number of cool enemies from the first game, and it dilutes why they were cool in the first place. I do not have that feeling with Brumoks or Reavers. If the Locusts are sending a full-out attack on humanity, they're probably going to use their whole playbook. One of the things that's in that playbook is hijacking the war rigs, which is not only scary, it shows a degree of intelligence that none of the cogs have talked about. If I thought I was facing bugs and then they started developing advanced tactics and armaments, I'd be discussing it. We get closer to Landdown, which looks like something from Resident Evil.
Control, Landdown's in sight.
Roger that. Determining launch coordinates now. Control out.
Brumak!
Multiple Brumoks, south side of Landdown. We're not out of the woods yet.
Wow, the Locusts are pulling out all the stops.
Marcus, is that Ty?
Yeah, told you he was tough to kill. Let's get down there, Gears.
Ty's big rig gets blown up by Tickers, a new form of enemy, and we accept him into Delta Squad. We clear the town of Tickers and get this pretty sweet visual when HQ is talking to us.
Delta, KR-51 is reporting Nemesis occupying your local airspace. Can you confirm?
Nothing in sight yet, Control, but we'll keep an eye out.
I remember when they took Landdown during the Winter of Sorrow. It was a bad omen.
I absolutely love feeling like I'm part of a world that moves without my input. Seeing these rigs going past us made it feel like a true war effort. We also get the small line about Landdown, and Ty remembers when the town was lost in the Winter of Sorrow. Christ, guys, all this history sounds abysmal and depressing. We have another voice line from Dom about why the assault on Landdown is happening now. Marcus retorts with, "Cog got their reasons." But remember this, since it'll be brought up more throughout the story. For now, we continue through the town, avoiding mortar fire, taking out enemies from above. We also stumble on a truck driver's note. It's a bit on the nose, but it talks about them delivering ammo but outside Jacinto, near a sinkhole, without any cogs to help. The drivers question if the cogs even want to win this war, and they would have had a revolution on their hands if energy prices weren't so high and the cog weren't involved in the said war. Well, my suspicions have been magnified to say the least. Something is rotten in the state of cog. I enjoyed the change of pace that Gears 2 delivers early on. We've gone from a tutorial to a cramped hospital, epic outdoor fight to small town, and now a dark and ominous tunnel highway.
Could be anything in here. Keep an eye out, Delta.
I'm in. With the mega light from Betsy, we fight our way through what felt like an endless wave of tickers, but finally make it to the entrance. Wow, I love Reavers. I mean, I hate facing against them, but they're just visually awesome, and their death animation is pure gore. Our next objective is taking the Locust mortars offline. I really thought it was going to be a stationary thing, but it turns out it's an actual gun you can equip. Add this to the list of better implementations. Gears 2's weapons are fantastic and have so many unique uses. I also love the fact your first foray with this gun is to kill a Brumok. With like the 10th Brumach dead by our hand, we move on to the drill site.
Damn. Talk about a graveyard.
Dirty grub, shit all over this place. I got no respect for the dead.
A lot of good soldiers from the Pendulum Wars buried here. Sure could use those men now.
We're getting the lifts in position now. Long as Delta keeps my ass covered.
Roger that. Control out.
Another epic stand in a somber area.
Delta, to the grind lifts. Let's go, 2 by 2.
Oh, you could not pay me enough money to enter a grind lift.
If something happens to me, promise me you'll look for Maria.
You got it, Dom. No problem.
And we have a name now, Maria. That's one badass locust.
Oh, shit. What the hell is that? I'll hold them off, boys. Get your asses down there.
Marcus, should we try to...
Damn it! Won't buy!
Ah, fuck!
So, I don't know how physics works per se, but wouldn't that push them upwards?
Man, if Cole used to puke on a raven, he must be tagging the walls with Chook right now.
Anyways, we've made it to the underground again, but Carmine has been split up during the descent, and we still don't know if Ty made it after fighting whatever that creature was. There's a neat line by HQ telling Marcus to watch above him, since there's a literal army descending into the caves. We've witnessed some COG military planning, but this takes the prize on riskiest mission. While playing through this level, I couldn't stop thinking about the people on these grind lifts, and what if it didn't hit solid cave? Which we do see. I like the juxtaposition of seeing the number of locusts coming out of the sinkholes in the assault on Landdown, and now gears appearing from the ceiling and forming squads. It was a great visual and building up the hype. We reach Carmine, who is in a precarious position, and have one of the gears moments of attacking into an arena, then defending it. We're trying to get to the Hollow, which I'm guessing is the Locust City or operations facility. We need Jack to fix up the grind lift so we can bust down the wall. As much as I can tell when I'm in one of these gears attack and defend moments, it still works well. It's the story fusing with the gameplay, and I like that. We successfully defend and start the lift. Seriously, that's not how physics works, right? Or am I dumb? We also get this little chirp about wearing helmets.
You know the helmets have a filtering system on them, right? If you wore a helmet, then you wouldn't have to breathe in the dust.
Yeah, but I wouldn't see snipers so well then, would I?
Cool it, Dom.
I always assume that veteran gears don't wear helmets because so many random things can kill you that having it on doesn't really do anything. But I guess it's to see snipers. We fight through more locusts and caves and end up finding a rock worm. This was one of the better world building moments in the game. Not only does Marcus and the gang not know what this creature is, asking HQ about it, but realizing that they are indigenous creatures to the cave systems adds depth and more questions. Plus, the rockworm has use in the gameplay. Knocking down these cave fruits or whatever will make the rockworm move to them, starting out with small puzzles and later evolving into an important cover system in big firefights that the player has agency over. As we progressed, I noticed again that these cave systems felt more open than most of the levels on the surface, par the beginning of the Landdown assault. you get these small moments where Marcus calls out if anyone needs sniper practice. It was kind of perfect, illustrating being on the lookout for a sniper in a cave system, and just how expansive the caves are. There was also questions forming about what was truly down in the hollows, since we start to see some oddities. To start, why are there crates and cog transports down here? The game is pretty good at making cover through the environment, and I didn't see any drill holes. The second question, they have architecture? Like, these doors require genuine skill to craft. I'm not being crazy here, right? Now, I'm certain we don't have the full story. More epicness ensues as we cover some squads, and then this.
Gonna try and regroup with Alpha 1. Alpha 2 out.
What the hell is that thing?
Well, that ain't good. But I guess we found our seismic activity.
Wow, talk about indigenous life forms. Was that like the adult version of the rockworm from earlier? See, I'm all here for gigantic snakes or whatever that thing was, but I'm confused like Carmine about how on earth no one knew about this stuff.
One thing I still don't understand. Have the locusts been down here, like, forever? Or what?
Who knows, man?
Or if the top brass did, why would they send more cogs in? Maybe time will tell. Another small note on the flora within the caves. For the time, it looks nice and reinforces the fact that the surface and down here are completely different.
I think it's safe to say that's not a natural cave formation.
You were wondering where they come from, Carmine?
Okay, so like they have a civilization. Why does this remind me of Resident Evil 5? We blast more locusts through Main Street and then get this cutscene.
Holy shit! Holy
Control, do you read me? Are you saying this?
Roger that, Delta. We've also just received topside confirmation that Elima City... The entire city has been sunk, right at your position.
Anya, it's a giant worm. They're sinking cities with a giant worm.
100 times yes, this is frickin' sick. Like, come on folks, this is how you escalate a story. I cannot believe this line hasn't been memed to the moon and back, but I want to make it happen. How cool is the sequence? I don't remember much from when I played as a kid, but I remember a couple of specific moments, and this is one of them right here. You know, right before this, I thought the cogs had the upper hand. Morale was surprisingly good, even though we lost Dizzy and Ty at first, and I really thought we were going to hand it to these locusts. The goddarn screaming dude looked like it was commanding the rockworm. Guys, maybe it's an admonishment on my end, but I'd probably throw down my weapons after witnessing that firsthand. Luckily, we're Marcus Phoenix, and we have to figure out how to kill that thing. Another fantastic visual, seeing a whole entire city taken in by a sinkhole, is shocking to say the least. It was a striking perspective, seeing buildings around the hole, derelict from years of neglect, teetering on the precipice while the city within simmers in ashes. This game deserves more credit. Anyways, a King Raven is downed, and Marcus continues his character's continuity by going after any possible survivors. You know who Marcus is, and I enjoy that he uses his actions to solve and save people, rather than silver-tonguing it like HQ does sometimes. Fighting through the heaps of rubble against new enemy variants was exhilarating, plus the fact that the Locusts send troops into these ruins for stragglers made me hate them even more. Again, bigger and better, Gears 2 manages to use a lot of scripted points effectively to add to the action. I, for one, was not expecting a gigantic bridge to be brought in. We'll see throughout this level that not only scripted events move the narrative, but some really awesome in-game set pieces that add to the gameplay's momentum.
Damn it! We didn't make it in time.
Control, KR-54 and Charlie 9 are KIA. Delta out. Get back inside the building. We're sitting ducks out here. Ambush! Take cover!
Unfortunately, there are no survivors in the King Raven, and we get some much needed support from an old friend.
Yeah, baby! Yeah!
Marcus, is that?
Gotta be.
Nobody plays this game like me! Nobody!
Cole!
In the flesh, baby!
I love that Cole still has his game, but also, holy god, holding up those dog tags really cuts the levity from the Saquon Barkley moves.
Thanks for the assist, Cole. Where's the rest of your squad?
Here's my squad. Except for Barrett and Tanner. We got separated after the drop. The last message came from nearby.
Sounds like we got a new objective.
With Cole back in the squad and our objective to find the missing cogs, we set out. I thought it was neat that we were using the same bridge the Locusts used to get back into the cave system, but oh man, they were not messing around. I love when sequels create even better enemy types and variations. Gears 2 brings enough new Locusts that it feels fresh, but still has the regular grunts to make you feel like a champion. I also love this line from Marcus after Cole exclaims that the tunnels are massive.
Huh?
Some kind of giant worm is making all these tunnels. It's what's sinking the cities, too.
You kidding me, right?
I wish.
That's a telling line too, because retrospectively, this is the halfway point of the game, and you're about to learn how crazy the Locusts really are.
Marcus, what's in these things? That's not Barrett, is it?
No, it's his jump meat. Rest in peace, Tanner. Damn.
I swear, I was getting Resident Evil vibes from these Iron Maidens. I know they don't have spikes, but I still don't want to be in one. Luckily, we find Baird and try to figure out what the hell is going on.
About time! What the hell took you guys so long? You're welcome. What the hell are the Locusts doing taking prisoners?
They're locking people up in these things, taking them deeper into the hollow. They were gonna process me, man. Whatever that means.
Shit, I saw these Locust bitches some process!
Come on, we need to check this out.
The fact that the Locusts have so many of these cells sends shivers down my spine. How were these cells manufactured? Who were they designed to hold? So many dark questions. Even crazier is not 5 seconds later we casually meet a beast barge. Which one, I love they just called it a beast barge since it's literally a beast flying a barge. The cogs are straight to the point. Now, this is infrastructure that I was looking for. I absolutely love this world building. It's not telling the player anything, it's showing them the lengths the Locusts will go to transport prisoners. And like Alice in Wonderland, we're going to go down the rabbit hole. We fight our way to the barge, and I give the development team so much credit for the barge's design. I love the mix of the robotic and organic. It reminds me a lot of Prey from 2004. Not a great game, but some cool designs. We have this epic fight scene, but then discover an ugly truth.
Ty, is that you?
Marcus, we got more Locusts on the way!
Ty, let's go! Cole, Baird, cover that door. Carmine, Dom, guard the rear. Ty! No!
I told you, they're breaking people! I can hear them screaming from the docks!
I can't believe they did that to Ty. He survives everything, doesn't he?
Let's just get the hell out of here.
See, this is what I mean by crazy. That's horrifying and highly effective. Since they don't even show what they did to Ty, they leave it up for the player's imagination. And Christ, the squad doesn't even have time to mourn or give a proper burial. Nope, it's take the dog tag and defend against the next wave of Locust. As we continue fighting our way through the cave system, another excellent level design implementation happens by bringing the squad into another part of the city. This was a great way to split up the long and linear cave system with some open and unique urban combat. The squad finally makes it to the pickup location, but nothing ever is easy for our guys.
Oh, shit! Hurry it up, 1-9. We need out of here now! Go, go, go! Where's Carmine?
I got your back, Sarge!
Get your ass in here, now!
Rookie, this ain't the big game yet! Send your ass for the payoffs!
We're in!
I'm okay, Sarge. I can't believe we made it.
Carmine!
What an awesome scene, and yes, we're on the next level of escalation. But right before the belly of the beast, we get a brief scene featuring the missing woman Dom's been trying to find.
Dom. Dom! Dom!
Dom! Dom, wake up!
What? Huh?
Dom, you okay?
Tell me we aren't where I think we are.
Hate to tell you, Dom. We are.
So the squad finds themselves eaten by this gigantic worm, and I didn't think we'd get biblical here, but we're about to start a fire in this whale's stomach. Or cut some arteries. It's another win in the level design book for Gears 2. We've gotten to see lots of different environments throughout the game so far, and I truly appreciate them deciding on this level. Regardless of its linearity, I still remember playing this level almost 15 years ago, and I'm still awestruck by it today. All of these unique animations, graphics, all took time and energy, and I feel like a lot of attention was paid to what a gigantic worm's intestinal tract would look like.
It's Carmine! Get off me! Get the hell off me! Sarge?
Carmine?
I hurt, Sarge.
Well, Carmine dying was brutal, but we don't have time to mourn again. We have a debris wall closing in.
Run!
Again, the pacing is pristine. I was never bored once in my playtime, and I was so intrigued by at least one aspect of the game at all times, whether that was the narration, gameplay, visuals, or a mix of all three, it was always there. We continue, and there are some really funny small lines about the anatomy of the worm between Baird and the others. He's a smartass, but I still love him.
Let's keep moving. If this is the stomach, the heart and the lungs have got to be somewhere on the other side.
Yeah, as long as its physiology plays by the rules.
Finally getting to the main heart, we sever the pumps and oh man, is that satisfying to watch this thing go down. In typical COG fashion, requesting evac means nothing. I laughed at them bringing us a tank because didn't they do this in the first game after we got out of the tunnel system? Also, do their suits have some sort of caffeine injector? Because after 34 straight hours of kicking Locust's ass, I would be sleeping in the worm's blood.
Delta, this is Command. You've got new orders, Phoenix. Operation Hollow Storm continues, but we had insufficient intel on the Locust stronghold. We need to accurately pinpoint the heart of the Hollow and take out their leader. Chairman Prescott just declassified an intel file that reveals a decommissioned COG outpost near your location. Well, I've been told it'll give us a lead on the location of the Locust stronghold, and possibly some more intel on the Locust Queen as well. You and Delta are to check it out ASAP and report any findings to Command.
Excuse me, sir, but what the hell? Just declassified? And what do you mean, a Locust Queen?
Everything is on a need-to-know basis, Sergeant.
1,000 times yes. Secret labs, declassified documents, Locust Queen. Now I see why showing her off at the end of the first game would make some people annoyed. If the first mention of her was in this moment, I think I would have been even more hyped, since you kind of understand the Locusts aren't some dumb bug and have some functioning society. And as Marcus puts it, there is no other choice. This is the last mission, or so leadership says. Now, this level reminded me a lot of the factory for Emulsion in the first game, same atmosphere of rain and creepy derelict machinery, but again they elevate it with a lot of challenges and an intriguing plot focus.
This place doesn't look like an outpost, more like a warehouse.
Probably just a facade. They've obviously been hiding something here.
I am absolutely obsessed with the history of this world, even if most of it is obfuscated in the first two games. Not only are Dom and Marcus questioning the mission, but the institution they're working for.
Delta, this is Command. Do you have something to report?
No. Trying to reach Control.
Control is offline for now, Delta. You'll report directly to Command. Keep us posted. Over.
Roger that. Delta out.
We're screwed.
Even more damning is that the military brass has cut HQ out of the telecoms, and probably for good reason, since our first obstacle is a vault-like door with an unusual presence.
Welcome to Jameson Depot. Proper identification is required for entry.
You gotta be kidding me.
I'm sorry, but proper identification is required for entry. Good day.
Jack, rip this door, pronto. Forget it, Jack. We're gonna have to blow this thing open. Baird, can you get a blast charge ready?
Of course. Regular or extra strength?
Extra strength.
So we can't get Jack to cut through the door and need to turn the power on before blowing up Vault 101. Gears can play towards the horror genre so well that I was genuinely concerned when the game gave me a flamethrower, fearing that some ooze monster would appear. I love that the developers knew they could play both ankles, and oh boy, did I love baking these wretches.
You want some? Good to go.
We grab our identification, I mean the bomb, and after a slow slog through wretches, we gain access to whatever they're hiding in here.
Access granted. Thank you. Carry on.
The aesthetic works perfectly. The multiple monitors gives me a monolithian feel, and playing to the big brother's always watching. Plus, the amount of security this facility has makes you wonder why they needed turrets in the hallways. I was intrigued by the person or entity speaking to us about standards and practices. Obviously, it hits the ironic chord seeing the facility in so much disarray. It played into my thoughts of it being some sort of AI or corrupted system. You'll also find notes scattered throughout the facility talking about how foobarred this place was.
Security, like cleanliness, is next to godliness. Don't you agree?
Is this guy for real?
Anyways, we Sam Fisher around security systems and burn wretches. Jokes aside, I do love that Gears 2 tries to differentiate movement a little bit in different scenarios. It goes back to the excellent pacing of the game and making each area unique in gameplay and aesthetics. Another visual I love from this franchise is how lived in the areas feel. Like, for as wild as this facility looks, I still think it would have functioned when operational. Going through areas like the kitchens or the restraint rooms gave it an extra oomph that I really appreciated. It's not just some underground lab facility with no windows and similar wallpaper. We also get another world detail with weather, something about a weather system moving in that doesn't sound too good. We continue through the facility and hear this person's head talking about the good of science and the foundations of society.
Good empirical scientific research is the foundation of any civilized society. We'd be savages without it. Filthy savages.
Oh god, we have a mad scientist on our hands. We continue to find notes. One particular got my attention, being Ruth, this 15-year-old that I guess was sent to the facility for them to help her, but it seems to have been turned into an experiment. Also, the description of her nails growing at a faster rate, but her hair creation is reduced, had me thinking, is this person turning into a locust? Oh, was I right? Hearing the voice getting more vindictive and scary, plus the growing vats with what seemed to be locusts did a number on me, and my investment in the story doubled. The COG sanctioned some sort of research, and it involved other humans. Let's see how deep that goes.
Stasis tanks. But what's in them? Those aren't wretches.
I don't believe that you have access to this part of the facility.
Access, huh? You sure you want to go through that routine again?
Proper access will prevent unexpected and most unpleasant occurrences. I assure you. After all, we don't need you running around and plugging into random computer terminals. Do we now?
I love the interiors that we were witnessing. Just seeing the scale of these growing vats and all the machinery that was needed in order to conduct whatever research was going on is awe-inspiring.
Nice one, Jack.
Save the fun. That's what they always say. In this case, we're truly doing it. Or at least, we're giving it our very best shot.
What is this?
Sounds like Niles. A little less wacko, though.
The trip to Mount Kadar won't be an easy one. Not by any means. We'll have to move during the night, in the snow. And Chairman won't even authorize the use of vehicles to transport the subjects.
Subjects? Who's he talking about?
Don't know.
I will be leaving behind a semi-sentient security system to watch over the facility. I would hate for anyone to disturb the Sire's rest, and we would all like to use the opportunity to study them as they grow up. I'm almost embarrassed to admit that the security system is based off of my personality. But
oh hell, did we have to turn that on?
What just happened?
What the hell was that?
Nothing good.
Well, we get Mystery of the Mountain. The security system is half-sentient AI based on the main researcher's personality, and they've been growing something called sires. The plot thickens, as they say. And all of this, remember, is to get the plans for the Locust Stronghold. Man, this is some detour, but filled with such world building, I could have taken a whole game exploring abandoned COG facilities.
They're trying to get out. Should we be trying to help them?
I don't think so. We don't know what's in there. Could be something contaminated or worse.
Look out! What the hell are these things?
So, sires are horrifying, plus the fact that the AI system calls them a genetic bridge to the future. Yeah, I'm not about alien eugenics.
If we've got a chance at shutting him down, I'm guessing this is it.
Look around for a switch or a power supply. The system's getting nuttier by the second.
Wow, talk about a visual. I don't even know what to call this other than high-tech industrial. You can see the madness already within the decorations. Like, the AI didn't put up thousands of monitors. The guy did before going up into the mountain.
We are fully cleansed, and the truth comes forth. Will we listen? Will we listen? Listen.
Man, glad that's over with.
Anyways, our friends the Locusts show up and we do battle throughout the facility, while also avoiding Razor Hail, the weather system that was previously mentioned. This was a really fantastic sequence using the trains as cover. It was a similar feeling to the rockworms being used as cover. There is this momentum that you don't usually get during the normal combat situations. The platform movement gives a unique mechanic and genuinely feels different. Add on to that the Razor Hail, which you need to take cover from, and you've got yourself one intense escape sequence. And it's not over yet. Baird needs to repair the Centaur and Reavers start to swarm. Nothing comes easily, but we do make it out in one piece. Now with the information of the secret mountain base, we start heading up into the snow. I am confused a bit by this part since they still haven't answered the correlation between why the scientists going into the mountain and the Locust stronghold being in the same place would work. If I missed something, please let me know. Regardless, we're coming up to my least favorite part of the whole game, the ice lakes. I guess there was a pattern to follow, but your tank doesn't have the best brakes, and even if you take it slow, you'll get sunk for sure. Yet the holes are created so quickly that if you're going fast, brakes wouldn't even help. I think I died about 12 times in this section, and it kind of destroyed my will to play for a bit. But we prevail. Killing hordes of locusts or taking out reavers left and right was amazing after the ice debacle. Then adding cedars to the mountain face really showed that the locusts did not want us climbing up. We get past the final gate and enter the mountain. Who turned off all the lights?
Baird, we lost power.
No shit!
Come on, Baird! Hurry it up!
I'm trying! Get up like that!
Okay, give it a try. Shoot it!
We kill some more Brumox and pull off a sick jump. Some people might not like those moments, but I think it's a good break from the horror tropes of the last two levels.
Only one way to go now!
Are you crazy, Marcus?
Oh, shit! We're not gonna make it!
Here we go!
That's it. No more jumps, all right?
Ha ha! Come on, baby, let's do it again! Uh-oh, I think Barry just pissed himself.
We end up finding Stranded, which definitely confused me. Like, there's no way they could survive down here for long. What the hell do they even eat? Wait, is this the frickin' gas station attendant from Gears 1?
After you jackasses blew up my station and Franklin's outpost got overrun, the surface wasn't safe no more.
And you guys thought down here was safe?
Nowhere is, son. Not anymore. We were fine here for a few months, as long as you stayed away from the roads and Nexus. But now they're coming around where they didn't before. Kidnapping people, torturing them.
Nexus?
Yeah, Nexus. You got wax in your ears? Nexus is where all the locusts come from.
Hey, old man. Can we get there from here?
You'd have to cross the lake, but nobody does except Locust. Those waters ain't safe.
Know where it is, right?
Before you go, you ever seen this woman?
Maria. And she probably has been captured by Locust and either brought to the Nexus or some work camp, which, Christ, the Locusts have been taking humans to make them as slaves? Gnarly doesn't foot the bill. Also, the old man talking about a highway system for down here makes little sense, but I guess we'll see what he's talking about. A neat detail starting the next level is seeing these gigantic fossils in the rock. It just goes to show how long this world has been providing life and that humans don't know jack shit about half the stuff underneath them. Going towards the Nexus or the Locust Stronghold brings a lot of questions on Marcus and Dom's journey, mostly about how the hell the Locust could construct all these buildings which look hundreds of years old in the last, 20 years of the war? Something isn't adding up. If humans created the Locust, then who created this ancient infrastructure down here? Also, why is there just a human-sized rowboat at their dock? What is going on? But there was no time to think as we get attacked again by gunboats and make our makeshift float work.
Look out!
Hold on! Why'd they just drop off? They afraid of the emulsion fumes?
That or something else. Keep your eyes open.
What was that?
Nothing good.
We need to get off this thing, man!
Okay, I must ask the question here. Did anyone else think they were too influenced by Resident Evil 4? I know gigantic water monsters aren't copyrighted, but all of this felt really similar in tone and visuals. What are your thoughts? I did love the transition onto the gunboat and the ensuing battle. A great detail on the gunboats are how they move. If you didn't notice at first, there are two creatures swimming that act as the motor. This adds on to the Locust having all these animals or creatures that are needed for their contraptions, which shows off some sort of domestication process. Another random boat? Could anyone explain this?
Where is it?
I don't know, but it's definitely not going away.
Wow, talk about details. That's such a neat touch showing the boss eating our poor fish friends. I like this boss fight just for the fact that we could witness the creature. Nothing wild or extraordinary about its mechanics. Shoot the eye, shoot the tentacles, grenade, and profit.
Ah, shit! Take it out! Eat it!
Biggest fish I've ever caught.
We finally make it to the back door of the Nexus and, oh boy, we're a bit outnumbered.
With that many troops on the move, that's gotta be the highway.
Well, then let's follow them to where the action is.
Wait, Marcus. The old guy said we had to branch off the highway at the dam.
Look. We need to stick to the mission. We have no idea if Maria's down here, and
I need to know. You don't have to go with me, all right?
Damn it. That's just gonna get us both killed. We need to get into the stronghold and activate the beacon. This is it, Dom. This is everything we've been fighting for.
Yeah? Well, Maria's everything I've been fighting for. She's my fucking wife, all right?
So you gonna turn your back on your whole world, then? The other gears we've fought with? All the people who've died?
I'm sorry, Marcus. After what you did for your father, I thought you'd understand.
Ah, hell. Dom, wait up.
What did Marcus do for his father? We know from the last game they had a contentious relationship, and for that line to make Marcus detour the mission, it must have been something major. Okay, at this point the Locusts have cities, they have highways, they have elevators. There is no denying that the Cogs have underestimated their enemy. Fighting our way through every Locust that stayed back from the main assault was difficult. I liked that there was an applicable reason why the defenses of their major city felt a bit slim. Even without millions of locusts, it was still a trek to get past some of the defenses. We eventually find some sort of terminal that somehow Jack can search through. I don't know if that's a way to just further the mystery plot. Like, isn't that insidious that a cog machinery can also work with Windows Vista? I mean, Locust OS? Jokes aside, Dom is right. There's a lot of people that have been captured. Going back to find Baird in one of these things, I couldn't imagine being kept in one for longer than 2 minutes. While checking each terminal, I saw another detail that I was confused about. Apologies if all these niche things get answered in Gears 3, but I gotta ask, the Locusts have a sound system like speakers? So that means there's a sound guy walking around balancing the tracks? Wild. After some walking, we get to the final terminal, which shows the correct symbol, and after a small defense, open up the cell. I'm going to let this one play out.
Maria. Maria.
Dom.
No, no, no. No, baby. No, 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 no. What did they do to you? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Maria. I tried to find you. God, I did. Please, no. Maria. God damn it, it's me, Dominic. It's Dominic. Marcus, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, man. She...
No. It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I love you so much.
Wow, I won't lie, that made me tear up even rewatching it while writing the script. Not only is this a poignant moment itself, but the fact that Dom had been searching for a game and a half, constantly hoping and wishing to see his wife again, then having to kill her, is one of the more mature story points in my gaming career. There's something so heart-shattering hearing the gun go off, knowing that Dom chooses to kill his own wife, and on the other side of that feeling, there's one of closure. Even with seeing Maria stripped of everything she once was, mentally and physically, which is diabolical, Dom does get the chance not only to say he loves her, but end her suffering, which was the right thing to do in the end, no matter how much it might break him. Phoenix knows this, and saying it's okay to Dom, then walking away to allow Dom his final moments with his wife, is compassionate and what makes Phoenix a great leader. Another detail that I enjoyed was when Dom does rejoin Marcus, that Marcus has been dealing with his emotions as well, just through the physical rupture of Locust sternums. Again, the level designers do a fantastic job visually making these caves feel unique, and the zeitgeist of trying to check each hallway pays off. Somehow Baird is getting papers down here, but I don't care about the logistics, because there are some really cool details he provides. Baird starts to learn the Locust language and begins translating documents we find in the Nexus. He also mentions ozoning the tank because of the stranded smell. I chuckled at this since I assume this is a reference to Ozium air sanitizer, a strong aroma most used by me in high school for nefarious reasons. Yeah, that's a stronghold, alright.
I think we found our Locust stronghold.
Nexus.
Now where do we find the Queen?
My bet's on that tower in the middle. It's the closest thing we've seen to a palace.
The next section was a lot of fun. Something about shooting locusts in their archery towers felt rewarding, and the aspect of us taking the fight to their city was pretty cool. Oh, this sound system is actually good.
Look inside yourself. Do you have the will to win?
What? Who the hell's that?
It's gotta be the Queen.
Another noticing I'd love your opinion on is the architecture in the Nexus. Does it remind you of the human architecture? I just mentioned the archery towers, and thinking about the towers we saw ascending the mountain, and then this church-like structure that greatly resembles the church in Lima, there are too many similarities. Continuing onward, and everything from dynamic cover to insane amount of troops breathing down your neck was making this feel like an epic finale. Add on to the grind lifts finally deploying, it felt like the momentum was shifting. Talk about escalation too. Just as we were getting into the rhythm of street fighting locusts in their capital, we take some midtown trolleys straight to the hive, having to defend against other trolleys full of locusts and reavers. Another thing as we progressed throughout the level was the Queen's voice began to get a bit more fearful.
The Riftworm is dead, yet still we will vanquish our enemies.
We do get this translation from Baird about defense plans, but from below the Locust stronghold, meaning something was attacking them from the depths of the caves. How far did these cave systems go?
Yo, Dom, don't touch that shit. You could get rust lung off that or something. I don't know, man. It looks infected.
Yeah, good call.
Let me get this shit straight. The regular locusts are fighting the glowing locusts? I thought they were all on the same side.
I was wondering why we were doing so well.
Well, that explains their desperation in the raids. They're losing their home turf to the Lambent.
So I guess the plot twist that the locusts are trying to evacuate their own territory makes sense why they engage with the humans on the surface, but it also means that they're outnumbered by the Lambent, which doesn't bode well for humans either.
Dig in, baby. Going into overtime.
Finally, we make it to the palace, and this gives off more eldritch horror vibes than Cthulhu's country home. I love the design of the exterior, and just the fact that this place has defenses like this give it a history and a functionality. We get this line where you would hide if you were Queen of the Grubs, and Marcus goes, "At the bottom." But if we were being attacked from the depths, wouldn't I go as high as I can? Am I nitpicking that too much? And this is why my thesis still holds true throughout the game. A feeding chamber for their wargs was not in my bingo card, and surely not one that feeds them a steady diet of human heads. It's the small moments like that, a one-off room, that makes this game so good. It sounds stupid to say or even type, but exploring through the one room made me think, wow, this place probably has even more gruesome atrocities laying in wait. Shout out to my certified badass moment coming from not a cutscene this time, but walking down the stairs with a Locust prisoner. I will always remember this section fondly.
Oh yeah!
We get to some control room and have some big lore drops.
So we know they're trying to sink Jacinto, but it sounds like it'll flood the Hollow. Why would they do that?
They're desperate. All this time, we never realized that. Jack, plug in and see what you can find.
We cannot allow the Lambent to pollute the surface. We must bury their infection here. The world is rightfully ours.
Delta Squad is in your house, bitch! You hear that shit? asses are going down, like way down, dead down, so down you ain't gonna even know which way is up. Your ass is gonna be crying to your skink ass queen. Oh, mommy, you let the bad man hurt us. Fuck you. We gonna whoop your mama's ass. Whoa!
There we go. One muzzled queen. Not you, her. You were great. I loved your speech there, especially with the bitch-ass stuff. Very good, very enlightening.
There appears to be only one way to end this war. I fear the cost may be too great.
Marcus, is that who I think it is?
I think so. If we were to sink Jacinto, it would flood the hollow with seawater. Nothing below would survive. We could end the war today, but only if we sacrifice our last possible refuge.
Who's that talking?
Adam Phoenix.
It's my father.
What? But what's he doing in the Locust computers?
We'll figure that out later.
So again, Marcus's dad is somehow involved with the Locust, or was doing research on them, or was part of the abandoned lab. Knowing that he also had a secret lab set up in his wine cellar, detailing the cave system make me question even more what was going on during the Pendulum Wars. We face heavy resistance through these grand chambers, murdering Locust left and right. I kind of wish Dom had some more lines about having vengeance for Maria. It seems that that kind of got forgotten. Regardless, this was another great section, and at this point I knew I was going to get addicted to the Horde mode again, since the gameplay is just so smooth and engaging. And finally, we have our consultation with the Queen.
You're the first humans to ever desecrate this palace with your presence.
It's her.
And I assure you, you will most certainly be the last.
What the fuck is she?
Locust Queen?
I thought she was supposed to be butt ugly.
If you're planning on flooding the hollow, then I guess we would be the last.
Yes. Though you destroyed the Riftworm, there are still ways for us to sink Jacinto. You will perish along with the Lambent.
Not if we sink it first.
Scourge informed me of your plan to sink Jacinto before us. I'm afraid it won't work.
Don't be so sure.
Oh, but I am. We already have an army en route to Jacinto to prevent that from happening. Tell me, is it true? You're the son of Adam Phoenix.
What's it to you?
He spoke highly of you. It's a shame that you didn't follow his path.
The hell are you talking about?
It no longer matters. Scourge, destroy them!
Bear, Cole, go after the Queen!
Wow, just enough information to keep the player absolutely on their toes when it comes to the history of the game. The Queen claims no human has ever reached this far into the Hive, meaning that Marcus's father never got to this point? Then how did the Queen and him have conversations, let alone converse about Marcus himself? And the line, "It doesn't matter, kill them"? Yes, just yes. Too many times do video games go into this long-winded explanation and exposition dump. Looking at you, JRPGs. It takes away from the mystique or the player's agency. I'm glad the Queen was like, screw you, I'm not telling you shit. Also, this guy's name is Scourge. That's pretty sick. We fight Scourge, but he gets saved by another pet, and we boogie out of the Hive following the Queen, who has escaped on a Reaver. So we have to get a Reaver of our own.
I don't think they're gonna let us just climb on him.
You got a better idea? Let's ride, Delta!
Always wanted me a little horsey. It's a flying one. It ain't cool, but let's just get the fuck out of here. Let's go.
So somehow we commandeer one. Now at this point, I was not questioning anything, I was just excited. What I can say at this point that isn't repeating everything we've been talking about is this is exactly what I wanted from a sequel. It's bigger, it's more badass, and it's better. The scope and scale of the sequence reminds me of why I love video games. Helping squads that have just landed with supporting fire or fleeing from Scourge and his horsey was so engaging that it felt like I was watching a blockbuster movie, but even better, I was in control.
Shit, that was close.
Control, Delta here. We lost the Queen. Did you get the data from Jack?
Affirmative, Delta. Evacuations are underway, but we're currently under siege.
Roger that. The Queen is sending everything she's got to stop us from sinking Jacinto. If we're gonna do it, we gotta do it now.
Understood. We're working as fast as we can. Are you able to assist?
We're close and on our way, Anya. Delta out. Cole, can we go any faster?
Of course it's going as fast as it can, Marcus! Give it a rocket in the...
Oh, that's why you wear a helmet. I mean, Epic doesn't even do this justice. We've gone from ground assaults to cave systems, from abandoned laboratories to Locust Capital, and now the last physical pinnacle of human civilization. I couldn't have written it better myself.
Control, this is Delta. We're on the Reavers approaching Jacinto Command. Don't shoot. I repeat, do not shoot. This is Delta Squad coming in. Anya, we just been hit. Call off the gun.
Sorry, Delta. Guns called off. Prepare for landing.
Watch out! That was too close.
Nice work, Phoenix. Your squad did good.
What's the status?
In progress. We've evacuated most of Jacinto, but we still need more time to evac gears from the Hollow.
Do we have a plan to sink Jacinto?
Almost. We're finalizing the logistics now.
When you first sent this information, Sergeant Phoenix, I thought you were insane.
I seem to have that effect on people.
But it looks like your father was right all this time.
Imagine that.
Locust troops have breached the courtyard.
We're on it.
Not without me, you aren't. If this is Jacinto's last stand, I'm not sitting it out.
Fair enough.
We defend the HQ, fighting in courtyards and trying our best to clear out King Raven landing spots. Talk about scope and scale. I'm floored that this was all during the Xbox 360 days and reinforces art design as the ultimate decider of longevity.
Copy that. All Ravens, watch for Reavers along the south and west perimeter.
And this is one of the better callbacks in all video game media.
Control! We're gonna need air support here ASAP!
Sorry, Colonel. Nothing's available right now. All Ravens are now evacing citizens or prepping for the bomb drop.
Hey, Colonel. I guess we are the support, huh?
Looks that way, Sergeant! Let's get to it!
We mortar and machine gun our way through more Locust and Brumox alike, finally holding off the initial attack. So yeah, at this point, no mission is impossible for Marcus and Dom. Everything is risky, to put it mildly, and putting another light mass bomb up the Locust butts is now just another day at the job.
Strategically placed light mass bomb can give Jacinto its final push.
What's the catch?
Due to Cedar and Nemesis infestation, we're unable to get a chopper down there to deliver the bomb. We need someone to clear the target area.
And by someone, you mean us. Baird, Cole, I want you two to assist with the light mass bomb. Dom, looks like we're heading back underground.
We fight through some beautiful courtyards and interiors, I don't know if it was intentional, but I kept thinking the gears could ask the same questions they did down in the caves. How long have humans been constructing these buildings and mechanisms? I mentioned in the first game that I enjoyed the fact that there were lots of institutions the squad walked through and interacted with, like the academy, the senatorial room, the factory. It also means Rome wasn't built in a day, and adds to the ambiance of this whole world, and puts in the question in the player's head, how did it go so wrong? Even though platforming was not on my bingo card, I did enjoy the thought process of the developers trying something new in the final sections of the game. Playing with the verticality was also a neat touch, and I hope they expand on that in the next game. Moving down the sinkhole was a great visual, especially this part when the floor of the apartment building collapses. No matter how crazy that is, I said I'm here for the ride. I also love the fact that Marcus can be killed by a scripted event. We also get this striking sequence trying to escape the engulfed hotel. Something about an elevator going sideways is a great analogy for how the mission has gone so far.
Unbelievable.
Yet there is one glimmer of hope: hijacking a Brumach.
We need to get around to the side of it and take out the driver. Keep your head down. Let's get over there and finish it off. Or we could ride it and speed this whole operation up.
Reavers were one thing, but a Brumach?
If they can ride them, so can we.
Out of all the memories of this game, this was my favorite. The word satisfying has been used a lot in this video, and I will say it again. Blowing up the lines of locusts that were just marching on Jacinto cannot be understated as a top gaming moment in the 2000s. This is what good escalation is, not like the Fast and Furious 9 where cars can fly somehow. Even though I do love those movies, no shade Vin, family forever. Us going from commandeering Reavers to getting a Brumach on our side, especially after seeing them in the first game, is undeniably a great moment. Wrecking absolute havoc on Locust cave systems is undeniably a great moment, and has checked off every box from my Entertainment X Factor list. We use the Brumach to sever the rock structures holding up the land above us, and hope to God this King Raven doesn't get destroyed with a light mass bomb in it.
Something's wrong, Marcus!
Marcus, dumb, you crazy bastard! We're coming down to get you off that thing! Roger that, Baird. We're more than ready. I'm still here, Marcus. We're coming in. Marcus, we're screwed. We lost the light mass bomb. So close. There's gotta be a way.
Oh, of course.
What the hell is going on with that thing?
I don't know. Almost looks like it's going lambent. Lambent? As in exploding lambent? Yeah, like the wretches, but way bigger. Then I think we've got our bomb.
I love the way Marcus puts 2 and 2 together. And what a spectacle to end the game on as well. A few Hammer of Dawn shots, and this disgusting boss was capiche. Yeah, that's a big bomb.
Get us out of here now! All KR units, evac to the surface! Control, can you read me? Anya, are you there?
So the birds evacuated everyone, the sea flooded the Locust and Lambent, and humanity has finally notched a win. Oh, god damn it, Queen.
Your world can end in the blink of an eye. One event, one unexpected twist of fate, and suddenly the world as you knew it is gone forever.
Sure, lady, I don't know how or why you survived and let your people die, but I'm assuming since you're not saying it's not over, like the last game, that we really did do a number on the Locust. But then what comes next? This seemed like a sure win for humanity, and it wasn't like they saw more capital cities in the cave system, or are we just oblivious to the range of the Locust and Lambent? Also, what the hell did Marcus's father do? Why are his audio recordings in the hive in the first place? Why were the Locust capturing people, and what the hell are the Locust anyways? Do the sires from the lab have anything to do with them? And what even happened to the researchers that went into the mountain? I feel like that all got lost in the pursuit for the Nexus and finding Maria. I mean, all of this and more, right guys? I'm so hyped for Gears of War 3 and wanted to take a second to thank everyone who worked on Gears 2, because this is what games should be. Interesting, engaging, with an involving story that doesn't get spoon-fed to the player like we're some comatose button smasher. I hope all these questions and more get answered in Gears 3, the quest for more information. Now, I truly enjoyed the nuances of Dom's journey seeking Maria, Marcus's continuing of his growth as a leader, the sheer meme of rookies being murdered horrendously, and so much more. There was heart to this game. From the small dialogue lines between characters during transitional moments to the absolute fantastic visuals and art design that set Gears of War up as one of the more unique games of its time. I would love to hear from you what your thoughts were on Gears 2, what surprised you, what you liked or didn't. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time, and hope I can figure out the shader issue before Gears 3. Maybe someone will have a suggestion in the comments. And as always, see you next time.
Howdy folks and welcome. I hope this finds you well. Today we'll be playing through the campaign of Gears of War 3, analyzing aspects of the gameplay, visuals, sound, and of course the story, to see how Gears 3 pulls off one of the best action games of the 2000s, and it's not just an action game either. If you haven't watched my Gears Remastered or Gears 2 retrospectives yet, I highly recommend doing so, since I'm building off what I had talked about previously regarding those games and the franchise itself. Links down below. Gears 3 does so many things right that the first two games hinted at. There's an insane level of polish to the details, buildings feel like they have a history, character stories intertwine with your area, destructible cover and traps while fighting, all contribute to this wonderfully dark and apocalyptic world Epic Games depicted. And that's just one side of this game. The other side is one of the most high-octane, monster-hunting, gore-splashing adventure action game I've ever played, and it's frickin' glorious. So, let's get started. Instantly, we have a callback to the first game with the camera shot. I was a little confused since at the end of Gears 2, we sank Jacinto and it seemed like humans won the war. Right, fellas? Getting out of the cell after Anya mentions your father being alive, I now could tell this is some sort of dream. It was neat seeing the prison Marcus was found in during the start of the first game.
The Locusts have broken through to his house and called in to say goodbye.
That's kind of horrifying, but I'll be straightforward here. I didn't really enjoy this opening dream sequence when I first played. Maybe because I wasn't expecting it or I had no idea what was going on, it felt out of place for Gears.
I've got to save my research. Do you understand how important it is?
Now with the context of finishing the game and writing about it, I give this a little bit more credence to why they chose to show what's happening here. Regardless of context, the visuals were pretty striking. We get the backstory about disobeying orders and find out why he was court-martialed. Even worse from Marcus's perspective is that he couldn't save his father, which I'm sure has weighed on him a lot. It also gives some more context to when the squad made it to the Phoenix estate in the first game. Marcus probably hadn't been there since all of this transpired, and more of those lines are resonating now with new information. Gears appears on the facade to be about blood and gore, but these subtle moments add on so much to the narrative. And what a contrast to the title screen in Gears 2, which was triumphant and warmongering. Marcus now awakes enclosed within a boat. The interiors look wonderful and are a great next step in the series. We get our time frame, the sinking of Jacinto being 2 years ago, and can find 2 notes. The first being about how Dom is dealing with the death of Maria from the last game. I was intrigued that they put this in right at the start, since one of my gripes with Gears 2 is that Dom literally has almost zero dialogue about Maria after having to take her life. The other note from Baird about Jack, our handy robot, and the conditions on the ship which sound brutal. I don't know how long I would last without working toilets. Now, I don't know if it was me being so excited to play through the game, I missed the majority of lore bits, but out of all the games, Gears 3 felt like I had found the least amount of information about the world through papers or other miscellaneous items, and more from the dialogue. Gears 3 does have some of this, but I would have loved to seen more, especially since they give you 2 right at the start. On another note, I thought Gears 2 would be the pinnacle of one-liners and great retorts, but I was mistaken. Gears 3 has some of the best wild dialogue I've heard in a video game.
I think the radishes can cope without you for a while.
People slinging their best and worst throughout the adventure, and we even get an amazing cameo by a Hollywood star. For now, we see Dom has a green thumb and duty calls.
Those stocks be the creeps.
Wow, I was not expecting this at all. This is my first time playing through the game, and when I first saw the Lambent stalks, I instantly started putting 2 and 2 together. We did not win after Jacinto. To see how the Lambent have progressed from wretches in the first game to now these stalks in the ocean is horrifying to say the least, and this is just the start. We meet our first new character, Jace, and I like how the game tries to incorporate new faces during the adventure. Another neat touch I heard was the inhabitants of the ship talking about polyps.
We've been on alert for 3 months straight. No polyps.
Starting the game with a slower pace and building up the tension by being in, pardon the pun, unknown Lambent waters with a new enemy type being quietly discussed is frankly refreshing. Also, I don't know if there was something I missed about Prescott, but the Gears don't seem too fond of him.
You mean ex-Chairman Prescott? That asshole. He ran out on us 18 months ago. What's he expecting now, the red carpet?
I'm waiting to find out.
And there was not too much time to dwell on that since we meet our new enemy type.
Nash, get out of there! They're behind you now!
Okay, those guys weren't too bad. Wait, what the hell is this, Resident Evil? Okay, talk about scale. From the cramped interior of the ship to going topside, Gears does an excellent job with not only the distinct and unique visuals of each level, but the geography of the levels and how the player traverses them too. We get past the scary monsters and raise the landing device for Prescott's King Raven.
Welcome to what's left of the cog.
I'll have answers for you, ladies and gentlemen. But later. I need to see Colonel Hoffman immediately.
Hoffman's been gone almost as long as you have, Chairman.
He's dead?
He left.
Prescott gives us some holodisk and goes downstairs while the ship is again attacked by these creatures. The designs for the new Lambent are very creepy, and it's not just, whoa, glowing locust like before. You can see new bone growth over the muscular structure of the once locust, almost in a parasitic way. Another neat detail about this portion of the level is how orchestrated the battlefield is, as well as the vistas behind it. The development team took time making these farm beds on the ship, showcasing the dire need for food, or the hanging laundry since the ship doesn't have any running water or, I'm assuming, dryers. And the constant stream of ruins in the background supports the apocalyptic theme, which the thesis of this video is about. 1,200 words in and sharing the thesis, high school English teachers be damned. Gears 3 is an apocalyptic triumph. Releasing after titles like Stalker, Fallout New Vegas, or Metro 2033, Gears hits a lot of marks that made those games resonate with the player. Desolate, large areas previously inhabited and now left to decay and chaos. Also, having never played Gears 3, each story beat or narrative moment was new and awe-inspiring in every sense of the word. I had no idea what was coming. After fighting off Stalks and Lambent, we upload the holodisk and get a message from none other than Adam Phoenix himself, Marcus's supposed dead father. Obviously, this complicates things since we know Marcus and him don't really have a relationship from the dialogue in the first game at the Phoenix estate, and the fact that Marcus thought he saw his father die years ago. Another interesting piece of information we get is Marcus's father talking about Sarah being infected by the emulsion, the energy liquid that humans fought over for 70 years plus. He also drops the lines about being held captive by the Locust and him having tried to contact Marcus for years. If Adam Phoenix is being held captive by the Locust, how did Prescott get the holodisk? There were some aspects of the story I did not understand or questions I had that never got answered. Periodically, I'll ask them, and they aren't rhetorical, so if you have the answers, I'm all eyes and ears.
It's the emulsion that's killing it. It was always the emulsion, you see, and I can stop it. I understand it all now. I've tried to contact you over the years, but I've been ill.
Damn machine? Baird's never here when you need him.
Brace! 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 Brace for impact!
I'll figure out a way to decode the rest of that disc, Marcus. We'll find it.
Come on! Everybody get out there and finish these assholes!
We fight past more Stalks and Lambent and finally get to Prescott. Even if we don't know much about Prescott, we can tell he's an asshole. Not caring about the dead ship commander and quickly ordering Marcus and the team to secure the helicopters, I think Dom was right thinking we should have cuffed him to the radiator.
Phoenix, get down to the hangar. The helicopters are under attack. We need to get them airborne right away.
We continue to the hangar and look at the designs within the ship. There isn't a dull point, and that's pretty concurrent throughout the whole game. Thinking about newer games and especially game engines that have stores developers can just buy from, uniqueness is starting to erode in the modern age. Apart from some open areas in Gears 3, I was astonished by each interior our squad adventures through. All of them felt different and unique, while also grounding the player with the cover system. Things seem foobarred down in the hangar. Pieces are on fire, lambent are pouring out of every orifice, yet I find it kind of awesome how tangible our mission is. These are the last King Ravens the cogs have, right? If they get torpedoed on the landing dock, that's not good for us. We get to our second helicopter and some Kraken Resident Evil monster appears.
It's a goddamn Leviathan!
Sorry, Leviathan. Fighting this Leviathan and the subsequent special monsters that follow it throughout the game, I could not get Resident Evil 5 out of my head. In my Gears 2 retrospective during the Cave Lake fight, I mentioned it felt like Resident Evil 4. Well, fighting Stalks and some of the unique Lambent later on, I could not shake the feeling that the developers loved RE5. Maybe it has something to do with how 360 games looked at the time, or maybe I'm crazy. Let me know if you had this feeling too. We take the landing dock topside to calls for an evacuation. Seems like we're not winning this one.
Yo, the whole deck's on fire!
I know I've talked about the farm beds twice now, but that's a neat detail that they've been torched by the fires. Honestly, I felt pretty bad for everyone on board. 2 years of drifting and trying to survive end up with it all burning on the seabed. But if that makes you depressed, oh boy, just you wait. Also, side bit, whoever thought it would be fun gameplay and pacing wise to have the player use a fire extinguisher missed the mark. We get our first quick peek at the creature, who I believe is this cave monster from the second game, now just dolled up as a lambent. And the squad is sent tumbling down again.
That thing can't take a hit.
Ugh, I bet that hurts a lot. But my pain subsides instantly when I hear a familiar voice.
Marcus, woo, that's one big ugly motherfucker.
Cole, can you see this shit? Where's your bird?
Baby, we got a grandstand view. We're crossing the bridge right above the ship.
Any way you can kill this thing from where you are?
Putting it scientifically? We need to blow his brains out his ass.
I was wondering when the Cole train would get here. So Cole and Baird are tasked with figuring out how to blast this monster's head open, and we fight our way to the front of the ship. Now, I can't understate my amazement with some of the sequences in this game. The developers did an excellent job adapting the environment during engagements that worked on a visual and gameplay level. Take note of this gigantic statue in the background. This is an insanely cool progression of the art design in the trilogy, beautifully depicting the power and the hubris of the architects behind it. Also, a new addition to the game are Silverback, sort of mechanized infantry unit that deals a lot of damage, but are sort of clunky to use. However, I enjoyed using the mini turret and rockets. Stomping on polyps was also satisfying. The Leviathan's boss arena is spectacular. Gears 2 did a great job showcasing how huge the world of Sarah is during the assault on Landdown, and Gears 3 is doing the same with these sites of derelict industrial seaports and abandoned cities.
Cole, you got one piss Leviathan in position. You ready?
Yo, give us a minute.
Tell Baird he's just blowing shit up, not bring the goddamn symphony.
I do love the thought of dropping tickers onto this monster, but Baird and Cole must remember that killing any big lambent has some repercussions. They saw what the lambent Brumac did to Jacinto.
Duck and cover, Delta!
Baird's dropping tickers!
What the hell's he thinking? Run!
Hey, I thought you'd enjoy the witty irony of Grub on Glowy Island.
Yeah, fucking hilarious! You're gonna blow up the whole ship, genius! Jump!
Wait, 1 hour earlier, they're pulling a narrative switch? Okay, interesting.
Remind me why we thought Hanover was a good place to look for supplies? Baby, you gotta trust the coal train to find the goods. This is my turf, Cougar's territory.
Just like the last two iterations, Gears 3 dialogue makes the game's narrative and characters shine. I've said it before and I will say it again. You feel like a part of the squad. The dynamics between the characters, their shared experiences, and the unending shitfest that awaits them at each turn creates this bond that will last with the player for a while. Cole, Baird, and the group were sent out for supplies, and I'm assuming Cole chose the location of Hanover since he exclaims that they're on his turf.
So this is home, eh, Cole?
Classy. Has it changed much since you've been away?
Hey, the whole damn world looks like this. Let's move out.
What a great line, and makes the player think how devastating this war has become. I also like the fact that we saw these port towns from Marcus's squad's point of view, and now we get to explore them for ourselves. And yeah, this is nailing the apocalyptic dark theme perfectly. After walking around a bit and taking in the scenery, we meet some stranded that aren't so friendly, and even try to barter Sam for bacon, which shame on Baird for even entertaining the idea. The stranded do talk about two other settlements, one by the port warehouse and the other by the stadium. Making our way through the destroyed city was fantastic and difficult. Getting to know the new enemy types was engaging, since I was not expecting any of this. From having to shoot newly sprouted heads off lambents, or having to flank stalks to shoot their sacks. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't think of another word for them. It was thrilling to say the least, not knowing when stalks would appear, having to deal with multiple enemy types, being fast on movement to new cover. One thing that I did struggle with, and I wonder if it was intentional, was ammo. Throughout the whole game, barring one level, I would run out of ammo on my main guns during every firefight, it seemed. Having then to pick up downed enemies' weapons and scurry around for more ammo of that type, it was something I didn't feel in either of the previous games, and I truly wonder if the developers were trying to signal that the COG are not in good shape through this gameplay aspect, which, holy moly, if that's true, that's pretty gnarly, and greatly adds to the survival feeling of the start. We head to the supermarket and have battles along the way. I was so impressed by each arena that you'll be facing enemies in. They felt much more open than in Gears 1 or 2 and had enough cover to still engage in close combat. That more open terrain lends itself to visual storytelling, since you can explore more of the map. In comparison to Gears 1, where the player explored the city streets but not so much the interiors of these buildings, Gears 3 guides the player into these interior areas like the hangar on the ship or the Snack Champion grocery store that add character to the world and lore.
Huh. You ever feel like you did but nobody told you?
Coal train runs at whole grain, baby! Whoa!
We fight through plenty of enemies within the Super Duper Mart, Snack Champion, and find some supplies. Now, I think these moments in games where they have one player not be able to shoot would have been a lot better with a co-op partner. This was back in the day that co-op mattered to developers, at least a little bit. Sometimes the friendly AI weren't the best. Regardless, we get the food rations, evac, and now Cole wants to continue through Lambent to find another warehouse, and maybe go to the stadium. Again, walking through these streets is a marvel. I'm baffled this came out in 2011. It looks so good. We meet our next new enemy, and I don't know what they're called, but they scare the shit out of me. These big boys not only throw their artillery at your cover, they'll Wesker you behind cover. If you know, you know. The combination of regular Lambent, the Lambent that turned into two fire-spitting heads, and now this big boy Lambent was making engagements much more dynamic, and it only gets better from here.
Stinking Lambent.
Jeez Louise, what the fuck?
Our squad gets to the next stranded checkpoint, and our boy Cole gets recognized. I love the consistency with the other games, since in the first Cole gets recognized at another stranded base, while Marcus and Dom find the tank. It has me thinking, if there were an apocalypse in our world, which sports star would you want to be paired up with? Walking throughout the settlement was eerie to say the least. Yes, people lived here, but no one seemed to be prospering. Plus, the only good sign they've gotten for a while is seeing Cole, since every stranded at least says hi to him. I wonder if all the cardboard cutouts of him laying around the camp have created like a pseudo-deity figure. Regardless, the stranded lead us to the COG's ammo supply, citing the COG left a lot of random stuff laying around. We get reports of someone shooting at our Ravens from a bridge, but that won't deter Cole from going to our final stop, Hanover Cougar Stadium. More Lambent appear, and the stranded might be right that the COG attract them. And again, what a cool backdrop for an engagement. I love the sense of scale that the developers are playing with. The stadium is obviously gigantic, and then seeing the bridge towering behind it gives a great perspective. Another great moment is Cole and Baird arguing about sports leading up to the stadium. This is probably the most realistic dialogue, since I know my friends and I have disputed football games from 10 years ago too.
All Father's trophy, blind referee. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, he is a literal statue. This was an odd scene for me, since the perspective change into first person while Cole talks to his fans made me feel claustrophobic and uneasy for some reason. Did anyone else feel that? Pleasantries are cut short since stalks are now appearing within the stadium, and we take the top floor to take them out. What was I just saying about interiors minutes ago? Fighting through Hanover Stadium was a delight.
You get enough open space to make it feel like a used area while also giving suitable cover that's plausible. Areas open due to enemy scripting, which makes the fights have this sense of longevity and intensity to them, which I quite liked. Our next cutscene has the squad finding the locker room, which is an extremely somber moment for Cole. This is the last place he remembers normalcy, a sense of belonging, pride. The last time he could don a helmet for sport rather than war.
Yeah, you're right about the smells lingering forever. Whew.
It's also heart-wrenching that he stays within the memory while stalks protrude from the ground, destroying the last untouched remnant of his life. We also get this brief sequence where you're running through Lambent, and out of all the things in this game, this didn't really do it for me. I thought it was a bit out of the place with a dream sequence to start the game and Cole's memories splicing into reality now. I understand what they're trying to do, but you can't just run into Lambent and blow them up because you're in memory mode.
Are you okay, Cole?
Ah! The train still got the moves, baby!
We get our distress call from Anya, or what we had experienced at the start of the game. I liked this approach and thought to myself how much they would use this type of storytelling. We meet up with the leader of the Stadium Stranded just for her to give us the usual cog suck, screw off mentality, and before we know it, more stalks are sprouting. One of the gameplay mechanics that resonated with me in Gears 2 was during the ending couple of levels, how the developers used verticality during engagements. This creates a different dynamic that the player doesn't feel that often during the more flat and horizontal arenas. Gears 3 has a couple of vertical moments that were perfect, and no matter how over the top this is, you can't not love rappelling to the bridge.
Come on! The line still reaches the bridge!
And that's our stop, so let's do this!
Shut off while dangling from a cable? Yeah, that'll catch on. The ass-off championships.
After killing off the Lambent, we give the Stranded on the bridge a try, only to find out those aren't Stranded, they're Locust.
And to get back to our shit!
Hey! Those aren't Stranded! They're Locust!
Oh, great. Look who's back in town.
Not having played Gears 3, I was surprised this is how the Locusts were introduced. Some relic of their past self hiding out in the open on a bridge. Maybe things for them were as bad as us. Nevertheless, the squad advances onto the Locust position, and we get to see the interior of the bridge and the extent of the stalks within the ocean waters. Plus, witnessing the ship burning at all ends, being besieged by this Leviathan, sent a shiver down my spine. This is what was left of the cog? And the thrills don't stop there. As we near the tickers needed to kill off the Leviathan, a gas barge appears. It's in Gears 2 we see a beast barge, so this is another creature altered to transport the Locust. We'll get a more gruesome picture of the gas barge later, but already it's such a wonderfully twisted design. With the gas barge disposed of, we set the tickers on the creature and catch up to the present time.
I thought you'd enjoy the witty irony of grub on glowy violence. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. You're gonna blow up the whole ship, genius!
Jump for it! No point! We're so dead!
I suppose you want me to say I've always loved you.
Oh!
But I don't. I really, really don't.
Somehow, we survive falling hundreds of feet into metal and lambent water. But screw it, they get a pass. Also, the Locust might not be so down and out. Changing from the lambent to the Locust felt like a good change. Instead of stalks randomly coming out of everywhere, the Locust liked to do this neat little jump out of the ground. I thought it looked cool and made them easier to spot. I talked a lot about escalation in Gears 2 and how well the developers upped the ante when it came to encounters and narrative throughout the game. Gears 3 also does a great job of this, but in a slightly different way, with uncertainty. Seeing the ship wreckage made the effort of fighting both Lambent and Locust feel like a lost cause. How were just a couple of humans supposed to take on these evils? It goes back to the themes for this game specifically and how they evoke so much within the lens of the apocalypse and the end of humanity. I didn't feel that in either Gears 1 or 2, and we're only getting started. We find Marcus and Dom and are informed that Prescott was injured during the attack, which doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Prescott? What, do we got an echo here or something? Yeah, Prescott's back, Michelson's dead, and my father's alive. Film at 11.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We take back control of Marcus and make our way through these canyons to gain access to the Locust siege weapons that were satisfying to use. Since when you register a hit, it will go into this neat animation following your shot, which I enjoyed. The squad gets to Anya and Jace just to see Prescott losing blood like a piñata loses candy on my birthday. Before his lungs collapse, Prescott mentions a secret research base called the Zora, that the Queen has taken control of it, and that we'll need to decode a holodisk Hoffman stole from Prescott years ago in order to get the coordinates for this damn place. Hoffman also resides at Anvil's Gate, seemingly thousands of miles away. Getting to him would be a feat within itself.
This is all I can recover.
I've tried to contact you over the years, but I've been held prisoner at Azura since Prescott abducted Azura. Keep your mind on the emulsion countermeasure. That's all that matters. I've been at Azura since Prescott abducted me from the estate. Prescott abducted me. Prescott abducted me. And I'm serious.
Fucking Prescott! God damn him! So now what?
Now we go see Hoffman.
We decide to go on foot for the time being and end up finding the barge we shot down earlier from the bridge, which gives us the great idea of tracking other barges, making this trip a little bit easier. I applaud the level designers for going in multiple directions through the course of this game. The Deadlands offer a lot of new visuals for the Gears franchise and gives me a Mad Max feeling. We also meet another enemy type, a baby corpser, which is unsettling to say the least. Another great visual that enhances the world building was how the Locusts have adapted to their new territory. Whether that's the quarries helping excavate their tunnel systems or what they've already built onto and inside the mountains were extraordinary. It also brought another element of sadness since the Gears have been seemingly stagnant at sea and the Locusts seem to have really spruced up their joint. Add on to this the gigantic bones sticking out on the sand, reminding everyone that bigger creatures are indigenous to Sarah. Going through the Deadlands was one hell of a time. The squad catches sight of one of the gas barges and continues their way in order to try to commandeer one, which continues the trope from Gears 2 of using Locust vehicle creatures. Baird informs us the gadget he pulled from the first gas barge was in fact a navigator core, and that he's reprogrammed it to get to Anvil's Gate. Baird is kind of awesome, even though he gets annoying at times. I like that he's the one that fixes everything, yet the squad gives him the most jokes. Before the next part, I do want to applaud the level designers again, and this won't be the last time, for how diverse each arena felt. I never thought I was going through the same doors to the same area once. Enemies flank consistently, making me use the whole swath of terrain, and there was so much to use. The developers really refined the cover system movement and time to kill, which made engagements feel unique. And talk about unique arenas, we slice and dice our way past more Locusts, just to open up the doors to something's lair.
Do eggs freak you out too?
Going from heavy cover and tight corridors to literal open cave did not fill me with joy. You could tell something nefarious was going to happen.
Must be feeding time. Here's Mom.
I love the design of this ugly mother. There was some nice details that the designer added, like the corpser already having armored legs to deflect bullets, and their multiple eyes. What I like about seeing these aspects of the beast is that they're usually covered by the Locust's machinery. It just goes to show how much the Locusts have subjugated their own subspecies, and how integral they are to their society. I for one would not want a job of putting on the headpiece on a corpser. Just me? Anyways, we take down the corpser's babies and eventually the mother in a decent boss fight, just to find ourselves seeing a familiar face.
It's him! Alert the fleet!
There are a couple of things in the Gears franchise that I don't rightly know how to feel about from a critical point of view. One of them is how the characters react to information, or their lack of reaction. Mira is pretty angry with us after we sank her city and possibly caused the apocalypse. Not only does she call out her guard to not let Phoenix out of their sight, but that every outpost from the Deadlands to Azora, wherever the hell that would be, is going to be on high alert. And Marcus says,
I got your number, bitch.
I mean, yes, badass, but no talk of the change of plan or even screaming a question about Marcus's father. Regardless, we continue and fight another new enemy type, the Digger. These guys were very annoying to deal with, but added a lot to the already awesome flow of combat. Diggers would shoot a grenade under the ground, passing cover and dealing a good amount of damage to whoever it touches. Finally, the squad makes it to the landing tower and we get another fantastic engagement with the Queen's Guard. This area had very little cover, and while being attacked not only from the air but also repelling enemies, there was a sense of desperation. We managed to defend the position and take control of one of the gas barges. Starting out this level flying over the Avangard plains was a spectacle, even if I had no idea where we were. And I guess that doesn't matter in this context. What does is that Sarah is a gigantic world, and it's dying. Gears 3 does a great job at making the player feel like they're on a journey. Unlike Gears 1, where for example the transition to the Emulsion Factory is just a cutscene, Gears 3 shows you every bit of the rough road. I didn't start to feel that until the beginning of this level, and I wonder if anyone else felt like Marcus and company were stepping into Odysseus's or another legendary traveler's shoes. Quickly, another great detail from the art designers: did you notice how the gas barges work? They've set up these claws that look like they poke the barge into moving, or I guess expelling gas. Honestly, it made me a little sad for these bloated flying monsters. We hear a large fight going on in the distance, and no frickin' way, it's Dizzy? Now, I do have a question about him, since the last time the squad saw him was when we were drilling into Landdown. Dizzy and Ty fought Scourge, and if Ty wound up in the Beast Barge, how did Dizzy escape? I don't think they talk about this at all, and I feel like this would cause some contention between him and Marcus. Dizzy even mentions the Scourge fight to no retort from anyone, which I found odd. We find the ammo Dizzy was looking for and fight our way back to the barge, only to be attacked by more Locusts. This sequence works on so many levels. Not only do you have this awesome visual fighting against the other gas barges and reavers, but taking one down is so satisfying. It also feeds back into the narrative, since we have witnessed Locust troop movements below us, and they're headed straight for Hoffman, the holodisc, and probably the last bastion of the COG left. Gears 3 subverted my expectations. I wasn't ready for all this badass boss fighting. Seriously, fighting Mira a quarter into the game was thrilling and unexpected. Her bug creature has some crazy Godzilla light beam, and I like that the developers actually have us lose a battle.
It's got us! Hang on, we're going down! Baird, any way we can slow this thing down?
Oh, it'll slow right down when we crash.
Oh, man. Everybody in one piece?
We make it out of the wreckage to be greeted by none other than the man himself, Hoffman. While riding back to the fort, we inform Hoffman about Azura, Phoenix's father being alive, and Prescott dying literally that day. But like most narrative points in the game, we have little time to talk. The Locust assault has begun. Defending the fort was one of my favorite levels in a third-person shooter ever. I loved having the high ground shooting at Locusts below, but also fearing for our lives witnessing their full-on siege. I know the scenery seems vibrant, yet defending this bastion of humanity against so many Locusts adds to the end of days trope, especially when they break through the lines of defense. Unfortunately, the Hammer of Dawn system is down because of some targeting problems, and we get pushed back to the garage. Luckily, we don't have to blow up the fuel tank even though it played the animation of it dropping, and finally get to talk to Hoffman more in detail about what has happened in the last 24 hours. Oh wait, you're wrong.
It'll have to wait, Vic. Is anyone monitoring the radio net? It's Sam and Anya. They're pinned down outside the perimeter.
We're on it, Bernie. Come on, people, lock and load.
Somehow, Anya and Sam have gotten to Anvil's Gate and are in need of rescue. I give all the props in the world to the developers trying different mechanics out. It's one of the reasons why I think the Gears trilogy holds up so well, even if this driving sequence is super short.
Yo, Marcus, I see the ladies behind the back wall.
Look out! Dagger!
Wait, did he just kill that dude with his own arms? That's gnarly. We get Anya and Sam, but also encounter lambent stalks, which were startling after not experiencing them in the Deadlands.
Heads up!
Marcus! That don't look good!
Alright, screw this Berserker in the greatest way possible. If you have watched my Gears 1 retrospective, you know that the first encounter with the Berserker scared me a little bit. Then in Gears 2, we don't have any interactions with them, thank God. So I wasn't expecting one to pop out of the stalk like that, and even more so, start this great boss fight.
Did we fry that bitch?
Looks that way.
What the hell?
Go on! Everybody get to the rear of the fort! Run!
I mean, what can I say about this design? It's like the Hulk and Ouroboros had an angry baby. Fighting the Lambent Berserker was difficult, not just because it was charging you and that's horrifying, but it had multiple phases like a Dark Souls boss. Yet the harder the boss, the better it feels to take it down.
Everybody down! She's gonna blow!
So, how was it for you?
Now that we finally have time to talk to other important characters, Baird cracks the holodisc and we get information on Azura research facility. The disc shows that Azura is on an island hidden by a maelstrom barrier, some artificial hurricane, and it's almost impossible to get there. Unless... Yeah, so apparently Dizzy knows how to fix and navigate a submarine? I guess that's the only way into Azura, and Dom suggests getting fuel for it at Mercy, which happens to be Maria's hometown and an emulsion pumping facility.
Marcus sends Baird and Cole to find, I guess, other cogs or rations, and we hit the open road. See what I mean about switching mechanics? I absolutely adored this part, seeing the decaying stalks on massive highways, dusty fog covering a baking sun, and mowing down reavers left and right. You don't get much better direction than this. Then you pass through this abandoned city, and I could not be more impressed by the art direction and how the city looked distinctive compared to Jacinto or Lima. Add on to that this wild shootout with another corpser mother and a mad dash to the airport. This was a blockbuster movie. It was also interesting to see the skeletons of the planes laying on the tarmac. I know everything is bigger in this universe, but those planes are massive and shows you the kind of scale that was normal in the society before E-Day. Nothing has to be directly said about them for the visual to have an impact on the player. After pulling off a Fast and Furious takedown on a Brumac, we arrive at Mercy, and something is obviously wrong.
Dizzy, I thought you said this town was occupied.
Yeah. It was busier than a fiddler's elbow a few months ago.
People don't abandon a fuel depot for no reason.
Dizzy tries the gas, but the pump has been shut off, and we shift into a more horror-styled level. Each Gears has one or two of these more thematic missions, where the pacing is a bit slower and we get more of the character's story.
So when were you last here, Dom?
15 years. Maria's family, they're buried near the church. I wanted to bury her and the kids here too, but...
I'm glad Dom can open up a little bit about Maria, even if it's tragic. We move into the town and my suspicion meter goes up tenfold. Whenever there are bombs placed on pipelines and red X's on people's doors, some sickness is afloat. The abandoned town keeps on being spooky as we displace the charges, and I love how distinct this village is with its architecture. You'll notice that even the unique building facades, the physical cog is present in a lot of areas, signifying some sort of nationalism or authoritarianism. Not long after defusing the bombs, the squad sees our first resident of Mercy, and he's kind of cuckoo.
Get your hands off those goddamn charges!
Did you rig the pipeline? You want to blow this place up?
Yeah! I gotta stop this thing from spreading! Just let me get on with the job!
What thing? You got an epidemic?
How the hell should I know what it is?
Okay, maybe we should be a little worried. Of course our paths lead us to an even more spooky sewer and a grim surprise.
Ma'am, are you okay?
After all you've seen, Marcus, why would you ever go close to that?
What happened? What the hell?
It's Lambert! It spread to humans!
Oh Christ, Lambent humans were not on my bingo card. These guys were horrifying and reminded me of zombies from Left 4 Dead. Not only is the concept of a lambent human horrifying to the squad, we're really hoping Adam Phoenix has something to stop all this. I want to point out the ambient music in the courtyard and how it accompanies the visuals perfectly as well. It gives me a Fallout 1 or 2 vibe. We defend against more lambent humans and get rescued by this random guy.
Are you feeling okay?
Fine, so far. But he's not looking too good.
Is this how it starts?
Yeah, you seen this before? Cause this ain't just rustling.
Again, why would you even get close to... Wait, that's kind of hilarious. Gears 3 rarely stops for long, and just seeing the lambent humans burst through the window was so over the top that I had to laugh in a good way. The squad realizes the pipeline was rerouted to the church, and while making our way there, come upon a place of great importance.
Maria, Baby, I'm sorry I couldn't bring you home. But you're with the kids now. That's home, yeah? I'll see you all again one day. Look, Marcus is busy saving the world again, so I gotta be there for him. Sleep tight, sweetheart.
Jesus, I cried during this scene while playing, while writing, and probably will in editing too. You can tell Dom wants to be with Maria and the kids, but also has such a loyalty to Marcus and their mission that he is conflicted on what to do. Regardless of being conflicted, I think Dom makes a choice in the moment where he gives his knife to Marcus. Remember this weapon, it will check off later. We get the gas pumping and head back to the truck. Unfortunately, the tanker is leaking and Locusts are inbound. Fighting against the Queen's Guard with their hooks plus Lambent appearing out of nowhere was thrilling and overwhelming. Then we get this cutscene. I won't lie, I was angry I couldn't do anything for Dom. To get overrun during the gameplay and then sit and watch this tragedy unfold was something else.
Marcus! He's gone! He's gone! There's nothing you can do! Stop
Get
it!
off me! God
Stop
damn it! Let me get him out of there!
It's okay, Marcus. It's okay. Come on. We gotta go now. Your father still needs us.
Watching Marcus try to reach Dom hurt so much. These two people that have gone through the worst in life and the best, sharing pain and triumph together in so many situations, ends like this. Anya also says to Marcus, "It's okay," which echoes what Marcus said to Dom after finding Maria. Also, seeing Marcus's sad eyes looking into the fiery inferno was devastating. And even if his character doesn't talk openly a lot, you know this hits hard. Instead of just throwing you back into the action, I enjoyed how Act 4 starts driving into Char, a city deliberately targeted by Hammer of Dawn strikes, turning the place into ash and ruin. It also gives a great contrast between the solo death of Dom and the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people, both holding their own pain and sorrow. Dizzy informs us that they are stranded still in this apocalyptic nightmare, and even Marcus says the squad doesn't need to tiptoe around Dom's sacrifice. We're still in need of fuel to power the hypothetical submarine, but all I could think of was this architecture and the art design this level employs. If the previous highway city didn't get your sci-fi mega city jimmies in a tussle, this will. Add on humans still stationary in their final moments before the Hammer of Dawn strikes, you have yourself one hellscape of a dystopia.
Shit, man, look at them. They were running for their lives.
And they've lasted all these years.
Yeah. It's a mass grave, people. Let's show what respect we can.
How could you not compare these motifs and visuals with other great apocalyptic games, especially since Gears uses a unique weapon of mass destruction? I've never heard of Gears even being talked about in the same sphere of games, which I think is a disservice. We continue through this mass grave and just look at the movement in these ashen corpses. It is beyond unsettling.
There's also some sort of ghost man running around setting off traps, which I didn't really think was engaging. I was still starstruck by the vista we were getting around us. After passing through said traps and defeating a bit of Lambent, we meet our ghost person, and geez, he's covered with ash. That's people, right?
Look, all we want is fuel, and then we'll go. Is this Griffin willing to trade?
Well, lady, he might want to do business with you.
Just take us to see him, little man. Now.
After convincing the Stranded to let us up, he brings up that the Cog were the ones that Hammer have dawned the city into the Stone Age. I'm assuming this is when it was humans at war with other humans. Sam tells him to shut up, but I think he has a point. I would be angry too if the people that worked for the organization that murdered hundreds of thousands of people showed up at my door years later. He also talks about his boss Griffin, who apparently has some sort of fuel monopoly going on these rooftops. These rooftops were visually interesting for a couple of reasons. Seeing the city from above was striking, and the cable car travel system gave it a unique flair.
Mr. Griffin, sir, these car guys showed up and they did a great job on the glowies. Now they want some fuel.
What the fuck are you doing bringing the Cog here, into my city?
I instantly recognized that voice. That's motherfucking Ice-T, and he kills it with this Griffin character.
So welcome to Griffin Tower, Cog. It was here before you destroyed Char and it's still standing now. And so am I. Got some nerve coming around here asking for favors, motherfuckers.
Side note, more good voice actor celebs need to be in games again. The 2000s was rife with them, and I feel like we've pulled away.
You know the first rule of business, Mr. Phoenix?
Remind me.
It's what's in it for me. You need fuel, so do I. Ironic seeing as how I built an empire on it. So you get my fuel back, and I'll let your punk ass keep some.
Anyways, Griffin is not happy to see the Cog in the slightest, and has taken Dizzy as a hostage, while we grab the fuel for both of us in another tower. Well, I thought the inner city was horrifying enough, but as you exit, making your way to the fuel tower on foot, you can see the true target trajectory of the dawn strikes. I'm assuming lots of buildings were in this now canyon. Could you imagine that? Seeing a strike the size of a football field doing lines across a metropolis? Seeing the remnants of it brought chills to my spine, and even the notion that Anya was there for that moment of ignition is wild, and something I couldn't imagine on my conscience. And I respect Gears for showcasing these themes and aspects without overdoing it. For as over the top the action in Gears is, the storytelling and character building is nuanced and meaningful. The squad manages to make it to the fuel tower, but it seems like the crew have disappeared, and we get this great defense sequence while elevators open with lambent humans. I was really impressed with the art design as well of the building interior. It made me think of BioShock a little bit, but that just might be the Art Deco. Getting to the roof finds the squad with another dilemma. The cable car has a safety cable. Whoa, who would have thought OSHA was alive and well? I tried out the cleaver at this point and didn't get it. Shooting felt much more satisfying, and only having 12 charges made it feel a bit underwhelming. With the cable car released, we start heading back to Griffin. Eek, Mira's found us again with her queen bug, and we make our way to Griffin and Dizzy, but not without the Locusts trying their best to take us down. Escalation be thy name, fighting off the Queen's Guard in this little shack of a cable car was sick, especially crossing over the Ravine of Death. I haven't even talked about the music in this game. The chorus with Gregorian chants is mesmerizing. The strings and percussion fill you with energy as you take on the guard. It's glorious.
Griffin, we got your goddamn fuel. We're done.
You're done? They're fucking dead! My people are all dead! We survived hammer strikes, the grubs, the whole damn war, and then you show up and I lose fucking everybody! You fucking Cog bastards! Everywhere you go, everything you do, it's always nothing but death, pain, and miseries, you piece of shit motherfucker!
I mean, Griffin also has a point. Wherever we go, death follows. Marcus gets angry at Griffin for being understandably angry, and Griffin has this line while exiting stage left.
We'll settle this shit another time, Phoenix. You can count on that, bitch.
Do we ever see him again?
Isn't Gears 4 set like 20 years in the future? Does he come after Marcus's kid? Or is it just like an anime villain getting ridden off? Oh yeah, submarine. Honestly, these two detours have really put us in a pickle, and finding the submarine to get to Marcus's dad seems a bit out of reach now, but we'll see where we go. Are they going to ever explain why the Queen looks human, or why her guards respond in English? Yes! So the Queen knows our every step as we make it to the dry dock. This was a great level, from enemy placement to the area itself. You know I love world building through level design. Just like how we saw the skeletons of planes in the airport, seeing the previous manufacturing capabilities of the COG are impressive. The squad encounters another new enemy type, some sort of centipede that requires you to focus their glowy backs. Visually, I found these a bit odd, and they didn't feel like they added anything to the combat, more that they were a nuisance to deal with. We open the next dry dock door, and lo and behold, find our submarine. What an interesting design, but it's missing a couple of things which we have to fight through a shit ton of locusts to get to. Fighting through the dry docks made me realize how much I love the chemistry of this game. I was just having so much fun. No thoughts about complicated systems or tedious button mashing. Everything was catered to the experience of engagement. I was zoned in. It also helps when the interiors keep delivering. One of my favorite arenas in this zone was fighting through the semi-constructed boat. We managed to grab both components needed to get the sub running, and now have to escort the transport to the water. I really enjoyed this moment as well, since it reminded me of attacking the Queen's Chambers in Gears 2, that long narrow hallway with harsh resistance. We fight more of the Queen's Guard Special Forces, who I think require some sort of explosive to put them in a weakened state, which posed a problem for me. Nevertheless, we flood the area and lower the submarine, but before we go on our oceanic journey, Anya gets a call from Cole.
Cole here!
Cole, this is Anya. We've got the submarine running.
A sub! Ha ha! That's bad spirit kind of toy! But you got to see what we found, baby! Whoa!
Cole, please.
Anya, you don't sound right. You got trouble?
We're heading for Azura now. We'll rendezvous with you outside the Maelstrom. Might take us some time.
Oh yeah, we'll be there with some backup too.
Watch your six, Cole. Anya out.
Man, I've lost both my parents, but I couldn't imagine losing one of my friends. Seeing Anya struggling so much over the phone shows us how powerful and depressing Dom's sacrifice was for the squad and for the player. Someone was talking on the subreddit about this very topic 2 days ago, and they said it perfectly. That after Maria's death, Dom was living for Marcus, not for himself. Lost at sea with no purpose, surviving, not living. Specifically in Dom's eyes, surviving for what? Since he wants to be reunited with the kids and Maria. I think the squad recognizes that fact after his death, and taking responsibility for telling Cole and Baird in person was the right thing to do, even if Anya wishes she could tell them now. These moments hit all the emotional chords, since the player has been with Dom and Marcus since the start of the first game. Hell, Dom breaks you out of prison and has always believed in Marcus, but I couldn't dwell on that crippling sadness since we get an underwater sequence I've dreamed of.
Jacinto probably looks just like this now. Yeah, we did that to ourselves too.
Well, there's no point crying over what we could have done differently, because we'll never know.
Again, I love the fact that Gears 3 doesn't just black screen travel you everywhere. You actually traverse through these areas, even in cutscenes show the squad in motion and gives the adventure a more tangible feel. Add onto this visualization with commentary and you get this somber yet beautiful silent grave, showcasing how foobarred this world is. I know I talked about small details a lot, but this is why. They add up to something more than their parts. At this point in playing, I didn't want it to stop. Gears 3 at each progression point was more enjoyable than the last level. I also was never able to figure out what came next.
Everybody, quiet. You hear that?
God, it sounds like an earthquake. Weird.
Dizzy, hit the lights.
Whoa, that was close!
Like a full-on Rails fight with underwater creatures, and then this boss fight? Hell yes! Fighting this monster fish was such a fun fight, even if it felt like I wasn't doing any damage until the end. The minefield not only gave us some good cover, but it shows the extent of the Pendulum War, since I'm assuming these mines were there to protect the city that was sunk, and just the number of mines is absurd. We have this epic spat with the mutant fish and narrowly escape, just to find the Maelstrom, and somehow the artificial hurricane affects the underwater too.
Marcus, the current's getting a lot stronger. I can feel the control. Sorry, Marcus, I lost her. Oh, shit, on a stick. We got mines in here with us. Okay, Marcus, I think we're through. Nice job, Dizzy. Thanks.
Some quick moves and evading torpedoes gets us to Azora, and oh boy, was I excited for this.
What the hell?
Those bastards, they've killed the cities.
So the government shipped people out here? Nice of Prescott to keep us in the loop.
Yeah, the important folks that were worth saving. Well, we weren't.
Didn't save them though, did it?
Damn, this game does not let up. Rising into a secretive government lab protected by an artificial hurricane just to have civilian and scientific bodies floating down making the water blood red was quite the look. I was also eager to get answers, some I've had since the first game. Dizzy leaves us at the docks and brings the sub back underwater while we investigate the area. We're trying to find the Maelstrom generator and turn it off so the rest of the cog, that being Cole, Baird, and whoever else they found along their way, could get to our position. One mechanic I didn't understand throughout this game is the stealth function. There were about 3 times that the Locust did not see us at first, and evidently the game wanted you to somehow stealth the area. I failed in the quarry back in Chapter 3, so I tried to pull it off here, but to no avail. If you enjoyed the interior architecture of anything you've seen so far, Azora takes it up a level, and it works so well. Not only was the research facility hidden to the public and most of COG, but it also doubled as the elite's hideout. Lavish with all these amenities. I mean, hell, they have a working train system. Or, once working. We kill off the welcoming party and get a radio call from Adam Phoenix deep within the facility.
Anya, is that you? This is Adam Phoenix. Can you hear me?
Professor! Yes, we hear you.
Anya? Oh, you've changed.
Oh my god, old man. Adam Phoenix explains that he is in some sort of hotel on the island and needs more time to enact his countermeasure against the Lambent. For all of the hushed tones around Marcus and Adam's relationship, it seems less tense than I had anticipated. We also get this bit of lore that Mira and Adam Phoenix have been working together in some capacity in order to kill off the Lambent, but not the Locust. At this point, Adam thinks whatever his invention is will kill both, and that will be brought up later and brings its own freaking questions. But the biggest piece of information is that the emulsion, the energy fuel humanity fought for 80 years, has infected the Locust and is an actual living organism, or parasite. This was a cool plot twist that adds so many more questions than it answers. For now, we get the good old "there's no time" trope and continue on through the tropical island. Since the weather really was dreadful with the Maelstrom operational, I couldn't not laugh at the thought that all these executives and snobby scientists thinking they were getting paradise got this. Just me? A+ again for wildly different areas throughout this game, all feeling put together and interesting. Think about it, we've gone from boat to stadium, gas barge to Mad Max roadsters, all the way to the frickin' submarine. Is that not awesome? Oh man, you can tell when you really get to the rich suites. Hosting leather couches and artwork. We get to the generator room as well for the Maelstrom device and have to turn off the switches, which doesn't work. We're then sent to shut off the switches to the coolant, which in my expert knowledge of coolant systems through my gaming career, big boy gonna blow up. This was a great combat sequence and gave the player a lot to think about. You have enemies taking cover far off in the windows, and you'll have to deal with enemies on your platform as well. This part also incorporates verticality, making your way down the stairs while also taking fire from all sides was jarring and really put you to the test. With the coolant shut off, the maelstrom does in fact blow up, and I love the achievements that pop up.
Wow, look at that. Instant summer.
They are a great way of connecting with the player's experience, and oh boy, does that sun look good.
It's a Gorazny ship.
Yeah, we having a reunion with our old indie buddies, baby. Time for a grab stuff and party. You ready to roll? Whoa!
Yeah, let's do it.
Bros, I was pumping my fists screaming fuck yes at this point. I was so happy that Cole and Baird had found some semblance of human firepower, and the fact that we were going to get some air support finally was a great feeling. But not all of this was happy.
Where's Dom and Dizzy?
Dizzy's taking the submarine offshore. Dom didn't make it.
Oh, fuck no.
The pacing here is so well done. We get our chance to tell Baird and Cole about Dom's sacrifice, and we get our leader Marcus saying that Dom's death got us to where we are now. And most importantly, we gotta finish this fight for everyone. It's a great setup and has my eyes glued to the frickin' screen. As I watched the 1000th King Raven of my military career go up in flames, I couldn't help but notice how beautiful this area was. What a cool contrast to the hurricane we saw previously. Now, I don't know if there's any validity to this thought, but I thought I noticed the same women's statue appear in Mercy as it does here. I'm sure there's some religion in this world, and I liked it for the world building, even if we don't get too much info on it. I also feel like games' endings nowadays feel stale or have less energy than the enticing beginning. This did not. Taking down Grub AA just to use it against the gas barges is some World War II thinking, and once we clear the landing zones, all forces were a go. Entering the hotel portion was another visual masterpiece and narrative one as well. Could you imagine being Marcus, Cole, Baird, or any of them having fought through the muck and the mire to now know that the people they were fighting under were lavishly throwing parties and hanging out at the Ritz? This would break my world. Maybe for them it doesn't, since a lot of the folks have been mutilated already by the Locust, but still. Okay, last time I'll talk about the visuals, but can we not applaud the designers on this 300-esque tree? The Locusts really have shown us throughout Gears 2 and 3 that they torture their victims, and this is no different. I was kind of astonished seeing this beautiful room and then the corpses hanging from it. We also get a brief line about how Adam's lambent death machine works, that it targets the lambent cells of any organic creature, which if I'm not mistaken, we have some within us since we've been near emulsion a lot. We'll deal with it when we get there. We continue fighting our way up to Marcus's father's hotel room with some of the best firefights in the series. Seriously, they killed this last part. Going from tight corridor battle to an open 13th floor cantilevered garden shootout was spectacular. But of course, it's never easy for us Gears.
Ah, shit! Phoenix to Trescue. The stalks have shown up. You got a visual on us?
They're appearing everywhere, Phoenix. Stand by. We are diverting a Raven to your position. Just get your father's weapon deployed and finish this.
With all this excitement, there are still a lot of questions at hand. Like, how does Adam Phoenix know the Queen? Is the emulsion a hive mind or some parasite trying to find food? How much did the Cog know about the Locust before E-Day? We also have to reiterate to Baird that the emulsion is a living thing and it's about to kill everything on this planet. We fight more Locusts and Lambent, ascending our way to the pinnacle of this huge hotel. Like, damn, this would have cost an arm and a leg on TripAdvisor. There's also this elevator sequence that I cannot understate how awesome playing through it was.
Not only are you defending your own lift, but you can shoot at the Queen's Guard climbing on the other, which was a great moment. I was a little disappointed by every dialogue between Marcus and his father, who hints at so much and then goes, "We don't have time to talk." Like, bitch, you can talk to me on open comms while we're blasting our way to you. Oh, of course. Mira's appearances throughout Gears 3 were pretty awesome, even if I wish I could just sit her down and interview her for like 30 minutes.
Marcus! I gave your father nearly 20 years to deal with the Lambent. He will deal with it, but not at my people's expense.
Marcus says not to listen to anything the Queen says, but if she has known Adam for 20 plus years, Baird is right. That was way before E-Day, and something isn't adding up. I do feel for Mira in a way. No matter how the emulsion started infecting her people, whether that was the human drilling or just the natural cycle, humans would try everything to save their race. Why not the Locusts do the same for theirs? And it kind of sucks if Adam tried for 20 years to find a way to split the Lambent from the Locusts to no effect. And they killed Dom, so honestly, she could just get fucked. The squad gets the bright idea to drop the ball on the Queen. I thought it was kind of silly since I forgot my Lancer and had to punch the cord 3 times. Take that. But we can't confirm the kill because stalks appear and we take a detour.
Okay, I really need to know what Mira was yapping about. She knew your dad before E-Day? How? I mean, she looks human. Did she join the Locust Country Club for shits and giggles or something?
I'm with Baird 100% again. And I kind of fault the game for not going a little bit more into the characters theorizing for themselves about all these possibilities. We finally get to the top level and find more locusts, comically big cigars, and luckily Marcus's father.
Marcus, Anya, it's good to see you again. I never thought I would. I'm so sorry about Dom.
Hard to know where to begin, Dad.
Yes. I always wondered what I'd say to you if I ever saw you again. But we always run out of time. I might have found a way to save the Locust as well, and they could have gone back underground.
Tell me you don't feel sorry for them.
Responsible, not sorry. It's my fault they're here, Marcus. I failed to stop the emulsion spreading all those years ago. It drove the Locust out of their warrens. I tried to persuade Mira to keep her people underground, but they couldn't. So then...
Wait. Did I hear right? The government knew E-Day was coming, and none of you bothered to warn us?
No, just me. Even Prescott didn't know. Not until much later.
Well, that was a lore drop, and still, I'm confused how Adam even got into contact with the Queen, how no one knew of E-Day except for him, and what was in the disc he gives Baird.
Look at this later and try to understand what I wanted to do and what I had to do.
Because I don't think they bring it up at all, unless I'm missing some DLC or extra. We also get this amazing lore piece on emulsion itself and made me go, oh shit. You ever watch a TV show the first time and then when you hit the twist, re-watching the same episodes has new meaning? Yeah, this was pretty similar and gave all 3 games an even crazier context. Plus the line that Adam doesn't know if the emulsion was indigenous to Sarah or was introduced somehow during human history is startling and makes it sort of have an alien type feeling to it. Stalks are everywhere as we try to load the Lambent kill disc. I have no idea what we're in for, an FEV FAT, a Project Purity pod. What we get is a neat contraption at the top of this hotel. But was this built with the intention of deploying this Lambent killer, or was this built during Adam's imprisonment? Oh Christ, Carmine, what?
Cover me! I can reach the device now!
Heads up, it's Mira! No! I will not allow this! Stop!
Eat dirt and die, motherfucker! Take that, you bitch! Oh, shit! We're on fire! We're on fire!
Carmine!
This was a great final battle. Taking shots at Mira while also fighting off her Queen's Guard was exhilarating. The arena had a great visual aesthetic to it, but I would have loved for some more cover, especially against the bug's light beam. Nonetheless, with a couple of hammer strikes, we take her down.
It'll be at full power soon.
Professor, you said you tested this. How?
On myself, Damon. I had to see how the emulsion developed over its life cycle. So I injected myself with it to accelerate things.
Oh my god.
Dad, we saw what it did to humans in Mercy.
It started.
Let's go, Dad. This tower's too unstable now.
I'm sorry, Marcus. I'm not going to make it.
It's okay. I'll carry you.
Marcus, the emulsion developed faster in me because I forced it to. I had to find out how it reproduced.
What are you talking about?
Why don't we ever have time to talk?
You are not going to die.
It's too late, Marcus. Every cell in my body's breaking down. And this is going to happen to every contaminated cell on Seraph. It has to.
No, goddammit, I can't lose you again.
I'm glad I was able to see you again, Marcus. Now go and live for me.
Holy shit.
Dad, no. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
Hubris.
Hold your fire.
So pious and moral, even now.
Is that what you think?
Your father always thought he had all the answers, but he had none. Nothing but clever ways to kill. The Hammer of Dawn, Jacinta, and now this. And his arrogance finally killed him.
Feel that? That's from Dom. And everyone else you killed, you bitch.
Out of all the brutal fatalities Marcus has pulled off, that might be the most satisfying kill. Well, shit, I literally cannot believe how good this ending was. Seeing the waves killing off Lambent and Locust throughout all the areas we fought through was excellent. We finally won and it felt so freaking good. This was a blockbuster ending to a fantastic original trilogy. Gears 1 through 3 did so many things right in all areas of their games that I have to put it in my top 10 franchises of all time. Even if some of the characters don't have long dialogue chains or books written about them, there was always a connection with the stories that they went through. Seeing Marcus finally take off his armor and getting to rest made me feel at peace. It also reminded me of so many times where he couldn't take off his armor. It was a great moment for the character, and to have Anya by his side who can parse through the horrors of what has happened and the beauty of what will happen is a poignant end.
Marcus, whatever it takes, I'm here.
What's left, Anya? What have we got left now?
Tomorrow, Marcus. We finally got a tomorrow.
So, what comes next? We've killed the Locust and the Lambent, COG elites are dead, and maybe we have a chance at a good society. I looked at what the next Gears games talk about slightly since I didn't want to spoil too much. Judgment, I guess, is a prequel with Baird and Cole, while Gears 4 follows Marcus and Anya's child. I wonder what the conflict will be in 20 years. I would have to assume the Locust and Lambent somehow survive this, but I wouldn't wish that for Adam's sacrifice to be in vain. Regardless, I still have so many questions, and I told you they never talk about that disc Adam gives Baird. There must be more on the sidelines or in other media, and I'd love to get some clarity from the wonderful people that have watched up until this point. I love these games so freaking much. Not only were 1 and 2 great trips back into nostalgia for me, but Gears 3 truly blew my socks off and would make other games pale in comparison if released now. I also got to witness the evolution of a game franchise. The developers and people that dedicated their time and lives to these games deserve so much credit. Making a world that feels worthy of saving isn't easy. It's built on world building, character development, art design, gameplay mechanics, all working in tandem to create a narrative for the player which enthralls them. Gears 3 does that every step of the way. I never felt like I was bored, wanted something else, or needed a break, even if my eyes told me I did. Gears deserves a full remaster, and I hope that the franchise is not lost to time, even though rumors seem more prevalent than tangible news. What are your thoughts on the Gears franchise and Gears 3 in particular? What were your favorite parts, or was there anything you really didn't enjoy? Please let me know in the comments down below. And that's that. I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I look forward to the next Gears game that I cover. All the best, and see you next time.
We've got a submarine to find.